The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
All right, guys, welcome back to your live show. Hope you're doing good and enjoying the night.
Your audio is a little messed up.
A little messed up. All right, let me do some stuff and get that going. But
it was like a little muffled.
A little muffled.
It's better now, but at the start.
All right. Well, we got the caller kid here, James, fellow cryptid member, Lost Cryptid member, and we're gonna share some stuff that he got. Got some videos to show, and talking about Bigfoot, of course, and other cryptids because they are out there. The idea of my own research in Michigan and leading to the creation of the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, the group, but also the YouTube channel, and the idea that there are other things out there besides Bigfoot, and there's just a lot of high strangeness in the world, and a lot of stuff, lost ancient technology and lost treasures, and all the way to the cryptids and all that. So it's very, very wonderful, weird planet we live on. So that's why we dive deep into everything, because there's a lot of mysteries in this world, and it's always fun. So the Sasquatch is near and dear to my heart, and seems to be very prevalent in not only Michigan, but the whole North America and seemingly beyond, and a lot of these other key places. So yeah. So hope everyone's doing good as it's getting the Christmas season, and we're getting our first snow, and snowing's finally happening. We're going to be able to go out there and hopefully find tracks. Is the goal, is finding a track and a track line with multiple tracks. So it is actually pretty hard to do that. Unfortunately, these things are very smart, and they tend to hide and know when to walk and try to when they leave their tracks behind. Depending on the weather condition, it degrades pretty fast. So I think they keep their movement to the weather and weather patterns. But as it gets colder and stuff, tracks are going to last longer, and hopefully we can get out into areas and find fresh tracks and document those, because those would be very vital in the Bigfoot evidence and showing them to the community. So because we don't really have very good documentation of snow tracks and in general trackways that go more than a few feet. Most footprints and stuff that are cast are only a few that are found. Where very rarely is there any actual trackways of any famous tracks. I mean, usually it's just one or two. So, winter and stuff in the snow provides a unique season for Bigfoot research in general. You know, it's a very different habitat and climate, and the vegetation is very non-existent, so you can see very far. And at nighttime, the ambient acoustics makes it to where you can hear stuff more, and obviously you're cracking and making a lot more noise in the snow too. So it's a lot harder to be stealthy. It's a lot harder to sneak up on anything. But it's the time of the year that these things are still on the prowl. They're still hiding out in the woods, and they're still around. They're still doing their everyday things, and we really haven't documented really anything or observed any daily life habits and stuff. So what do they do in winter exactly? Because we know that during the rest of the year, they're very active and moving around and very active in their everyday lives, it seems like. But wintertime comes around, and they're still got to be doing something. So we're going to be talking about that and taking some questions, of course, as we go along. We got some videos to share, some audio evidence that James got, and just having a fun night and kicking back. I think it's gonna be good. Winter's a nice season to go Sasquatch. I enjoy the snow and the cold and getting out there, of course. But, so I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the Bigfoot community. It seems like a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff. That different evidence is coming to light, and very interesting what people are catching and stuff. Eye shine up in the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch guys recently got some eye shine in one of their videos. It was 2 eyeballs and stuff, and it wasn't colored night vision or anything, but it was very interesting. It was very close to where they were walking to. So great piece of evidence they got. So So what's on your mind, James? What do you want to start with and talk about?
I say we dive right into the Bigfoot subject and then branch off from there.
All right.
I think that's a start.
All right. Well, we got some videos we could share first, or we could talk about Bigfoot and in general.
What is that supposed to mean in general?
We're going to be talking about what they do in winter and some strategies to try to employ. So, because you have some evidence and stuff, so I didn't know exactly when you wanted to show that.
I say we start with the videos, and then we can talk about what they do in winter.
All right. So
unless you want to talk about what they do in winter first, then maybe more people come in here and then we can do videos. I don't care.
All right. Yeah. We'll talk some more. In Sasquatch, so the game plan would be, going out to winter and finding tracks and hopefully finding brand new tracks and document them. Those would be very good. And, you could follow them, hopefully find, more evidence. But, when you start getting activity in winter, obviously you're going to be scouting around and trying to find those tracks because obviously the physical creature is going to be there. And then you can follow and do all sorts of stuff. But, it'll be interesting because there's been times where I've personally had activity where, I couldn't find any tracks. So going into this and stuff, it's we're going to be pushing it a little bit harder and trying a little bit newer things, including if there was stuff actually happening, we're going to make sure we find every single track of any animal that walked through that area. And having more people witnessing and stuff, events that happen, weird stuff that happens, and then finding evidence or not finding evidence is will be good to see stuff. So we're gonna be doing some winter camping and some survival camping and keeping warm during winter and stuff, and doing it in a way that to be able to experience nature and still going to areas where the Sasquatches are, and they're out there. They don't really. There's a number of reports of them using fire, but typically it's assumed that they're not really using fire. But there's a bunch of different ways how they can keep warm during winter. Actually, you got to think about deer are out there. The deer are out there all winter, and they keep warm, right? And they're not intelligent as Sasquatch, and they don't have hands and opposable thumbs, and they don't can create beds and shelters and stuff like that. So it's kind of a no-brainer that if a deer can do it, all these other animals are doing it. Sasquatch is doing it, and they're doing it probably a more efficient way, the Sasquatch way, and they're keeping warm, and they're thriving. They're not having to survive like animals are starving through winter. Winter's a very harsh time for animals in the animal kingdom, but you can thrive in winter. So these creatures are amazing, and they are out there, and there's only one way to study them and get evidence is to go out there and do it. So the winter doesn't stop anything. It only adds its own unique researching opportunities and observations. So yeah, we're gonna have a little camp out and stuff planned for a couple winter months every month, honestly. So we're doing some solo stuff and be getting some day trips with James and Tyler and everyone else, and doing some pretty hardcore camping stuff actually.
I actually do have a question. So you said we're gonna be going up in winter, up north, I guess you should say. And what if we don't have 4-wheel vehicles? How do we survive, per se?
Well, we'd be walking in. There's places and stuff that should have access to road vehicles and stuff, but obviously you wouldn't be traveling during a blizzard.
Because if it's snowing
during a blizzard,
those roads don't get plowed. So
right, a lot of roads don't get plowed up north. They're seasonal, and sometimes the country neighborhood does have to do it, but there's ways and stuff. So, but basically hiking and trekking and stuff. A lot of modern researchers and stuff don't, and aren't going to be spending a week out in the wilderness hiking in and hiking out and doing stuff like that in an area that only they can hike in and hike in out. Even if you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, some of the stuff gets pretty much impassable with the vehicle unless you spend hours and hours plowing it and making a trail. And of course, there's snowmobiles and other vehicles like that. But no, we're going to be probably most likely having a walk-in, building a shelter, and then camping out. We would actually just pretty much build a huge lean-to, where we could build a super shelter with tents and canvases, and then having a fire for the warm air to keep us warm. Or pretty much any basic hot tent.
I got it.
Yeah, basic basic stuff. It'll be fun. What I'm excited for is the interaction with Sasquatch, because they're not going to be experienced with people going out there and doing stuff in the middle of winter. Hunters do stuff. There's hunting deer camp and all that. And, it's finally wrapped up. The first wave of gun season wrapped up, but there's more hunting season going on for the next couple of months anyways. So there's regular hunters and people doing that all the time, but we're going to be just doing it in a different way and looking for Sasquatch, and we're going to pretty much let them know what we're doing pretty fast, because we're not going to try to act like we're doing regular stuff like regular people, because we kind of want them to know that we're here for them, and we want that interaction because of whatever they choose from the situation. I think it's the approach that we're going to be doing. And but in winter, it comes with a whole host of stuff. So if we get activity, we'll should be able to find tracks, and it's going to be a pretty huge thing. So it's kind of what we're pretty much after is in winter is going to be these tracks and stuff, getting some good snow Sasquatch tracks, some winter evidence that can be compared to other stuff that other people are going to be finding this winter season all across America. So yeah, that's what in terms of just going out there and surviving, it's not really that hard. Basic survival stuff, and basically you want a good fire. If you want to camp at a good spot, you got to make it a good camping spot and get a good fire going and get your shelter. And any basic tent with a stove and wood stove burner, there you go. You can have gas, propane, basic stuff that people use to for exploring and stuff. You can check out the stuff that they use to climb Mount Everest and stuff. So, they got stuff that can survive in very cold climates and stuff. So there's a lot of products and stuff out there. So we'll be doing some testing of all those products and camping gear and survival techniques, and being out there in winter and stuff. Honestly, it's just about keeping a fire going. We'll be pretty remote in a spot and keeping the fire going, and hopefully having activity draw in. Be a lot easier than tromping through the woods and freezing our bones off. But it is dangerous. It's going to be a dangerous endeavor. You can't make mistakes, obviously. You can freeze to death. You get hypothermia. Stuff does happen in the cold. But, it's no different than doing regular activities in the environment. We're just doing stuff at nighttime. Just dress properly, get your gear sorted, know your limitations, kind of be serious about it. That's the whole thing is when you're doing research and stuff, you got to take it seriously, and you're going to be researching in winter at nighttime in freezing temperatures. And as the months go forward here in Michigan, the temperature is going to drop, get to zero, and maybe even negatives. Every couple of years it gets pretty cold, and and so I've been out in blizzards and stuff in the woods. I've been out in pretty snowy environments, and as long as you're dressed for it and you keep moving and keep warm, you're pretty good. It does take a lot out of you. You're burning a lot of calories, but I've had stuff happen. I've had wood knocks happen. I've had sounds and stuff that were across a pretty good sized creek, and they were on islands and stuff. And this particular creek was not frozen over, because I was walking over stuff that was frozen. But it was just very interesting that they were, in this spot and making noises and stuff, because I was doing calls. And in winter, they're doing certain things, and I think they kind of slow down in a way that, they're, they know that they can leave tracks, right? And so in winter, they can leave a lot of tracks. So I think they, not like a a bear, they don't hibernate, but in a way they might gather together and cache their food and freeze it, obviously, and maybe they only move when the weather is changing and optimal and the snow is coming down super hard, so it's going to cover the tracks, or it's warming up. Like right now, it's going to freeze and snow, and then it might warm up a little bit, like it just did, and the snow tracks are going to disintegrate as it warms up, and so they know when to move, and they feel the weather in the fronts coming, just like any other animal, the pressure of the weather coming in, and so they can feel when there's storms coming in, when there's a blizzard coming in, when there's a temperature change coming, and they can feel that, hours, days before the weather event happens. I mean, you hear about regular animals, dogs, zoo animals freaking out when hurricanes are coming. It's the same kind of thing. They can feel these weather events, and they probably change their movement patterns to mimic, when the blizzards are coming in. And it's very interesting because there's a lot of sightings during winter, and there's tracks and stuff that people have followed quite a bit, but there's really not a good lot of documentation of the actual stuff. There's a famous one of the explorer who was in the Himalayas and got the supposed Yeti track, and that was in the 1950s and 60s, I believe. And so that's what we're working after. And I know there's a lot of researchers out on the West Coast, up in Washington and Oregon and California, that are, trying the same thing of getting these really good trackways and stuff, and not moose tracks and stuff that were thought to be Sasquatches, but they ended up being moose tracks and stuff because actual researchers went out there and investigated it and determined it, because if it was Sasquatch stuff, they wanted to make sure and see and actually get the evidence. And so we don't really have good trackway evidence in the regular warm season with optimal conditions, but in winter, when tracks should be plentiful, we don't have practically any good evidence and evidence that we can show. So out there in the community. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. And it should be possible, right? Because you would think everything leaves a track in the snow. But Sasquatch is doing stuff that seems to be different than most common animals. So we're going to explore and try to find and figure out what that is by firsthand experience. But by being out there and building our bodies up and pushing ourselves to the limits, and on top of having these encounters in the winter, I think it's going to be good for lost cryptids, and it'll be fun. So that's why we're going to be doing it too. So get us prepared for bigger and better stuff in the future, let's just say. So yeah, there's some gear and stuff that we'll be getting, investing in. A lot of fun stuff we'll be doing. So
what kind of gear are you talking about?
Well, the basic survival gear in winter, is what I would recommend, and stuff like we're going to get in.
What do you mean, though?
Well, like I said, you want a shelter, a nice tent, or a nice tent that can have
tent with like a stove in it,
a gas burner and stuff. But even if you just had to build a wood shelter, a natural shelter, some basic tarps, and the fire is mostly everything. You can you survive a lot as long as you have a fire. So we'll be getting to that more basic fire and starting stuff, camping stuff, stuff that makes it more comfortable for winter survival. So if you guys would just look up and research basic stuff like that, It get you some of the ideas of what we're going to be doing. And they can tell you about all the gear, really, because that's what they do. But it's really not that hard, and most people don't do it and don't experience it. So I'm going to be dragging the team out there and doing that kind of stuff because you still got to get out there and do stuff. So we're not letting the snow hold us back in any way, actually. So yeah, James, I know he's like thinking, man, it's gonna be cold.
I got stuff.
Yeah. No, honestly, it comes down to layering up. Make sure you're warm enough that you got the right clothing on is the biggest thing, that you're able to operate out in the winter environment for a couple hour periods of time, and then you would come back to camp and warm up and stuff, and rest a little bit and stuff. That's the biggest thing, is getting the base camp set up and then having a nice fire going and being able to go out for a couple hours and stuff. If you can get your outfit, the right way and be able to operate and then come back and get warmed up, basically it would be pretty easy to do a bunch of stuff. And then sleeping out there, obviously, you'd have to make sure that you're warm enough. But there's a lot of different survival shelters and techniques and thought processes of how to do it. So we'll be doing some of that sort of stuff, which is what researchers need to learn, because if people are going out in the wilderness and people are looking for the most apexed predator creature out there, Bigfoot, the most alpha thing out there, they're going to be put in some environments and some places that are intense. There's a reason why it's called survival skills, because if you're out in that environment and it becomes a survival situation, it's life or death. And if you don't know how to do it and you don't know what you're doing, it becomes a very bad situation. And it doesn't take much, and it doesn't take much stuff to go wrong. People get lost. So it's better to learn these skills and learn how to properly survive comfortably. And then, if you can do that comfortably, you can, makes it less stressful on yourself, but we can more focus on researching and stuff, getting everything else down pat. And, there's, of course, caution and parameters we have to take, because it's going to be dangerous, of course. But, it's dangerous going out there in any other condition. Going in swamps, going in environments and chasing after, Sasquatch, it is intense. And they do get very close. And we will be showing video of how close they actually get. We'll be showing this next year, here in a couple months. We're waiting for a documentary to drop. Jason Kenzie's dropped documentary, Searching for Sasquatch, Part 3. It's going to have a huge part featuring, the Lost Cryptid expedition to the UP, in which he was a part of, and me and him got lucky and had a very intense experience together. A very intense encounter in which that, does show some interesting things. And, what we film is our encounter, and you can see what happens. And, there's some very unique things that happen. And, it just shows how close they get. They get very close. And it's like you can't even hear them when you should. When something's extremely close to you in the woods, and you even have flashlights, and you think you can see comfortably enough that if something was right there, you'd be able to see it. It's very uncomfortable when you can actually see proof that the thing was standing there, and you're looking at it and you don't notice it. So these things get extremely close. These things get dangerously close to the point where there's nothing you can do. If they wanted to grab you, there is nothing that you could do. And in this situation and in the video that we will show, we're extremely dangerously close to the Sasquatch, multiple Sasquatches. And, I think it's something that hopefully you guys enjoy and you can see, what we're doing and how we're reacting and stuff. Jason gets pretty colored about what he sees and encounters, in fact, and he gets very good physical changes that you can see happening to him that, because of this encounter that we're having. Very intense encounter. One of the most intense encounters in my life. Definitely one of the best. Definitely the best, probably. I don't know. They're all good. But it's the dedication and the research and just going out there and applying yourself. And, that was a very unique encounter caught on video. Everything about it was very unique of them showing themselves to us and allowing us to see them and being around us so close and us spotting them and reacting and walking up to them. We walk up and kind of sing words and stuff that we're saying to be friendly, and everything about it was shows of a highly intelligent creature that can be patient with itself and its emotions, that it can be right around a person and let them see them. I mean, the whole dynamic of it is very intense, and I just can't wait to go through everything with you guys and watch the video, play it on the live show and stuff. We'll do a number of things, but it showed a lot to me about what these creatures are capable of and how smart they are and just how actually, what is going on. I left more questions than answers, actually, but it did answer a lot of stuff for me. It's going to be great. And then there's a lot of different evidence that we're going to be showing. This last half of this year, the Lost Cryptids has grown and evolved a lot and had a lot of stuff happen, and it's feels very good coming into this winter and holiday season with some of the research that we're doing, some of the stuff that I've been doing solo, stuff that's happening behind the scenes, behind the curtain. A lot of stuff's been happening behind the curtain, and but we got some stuff to show you guys, and going forward, I think we're gonna have a lot of interesting stuff to show you guys, and you guys can actually tag along. So we're gonna put this out there that we're gonna invite some real deal researchers and go out there and actually try to get real deal evidence, and we're gonna have some collaboration with people who we think are like us, who are the real deal, and kind of want to take a more professional approach at this, a more serious approach at this, and not a weekend warrior, and not someone who takes this very seriously, and a real a different kind of a research expedition, an actual research expedition, and not just a place to hang out and catch up and have a friendly time, but actually applying ourselves and documenting stuff that happens and getting evidence and trying to actually get encounters to not only happen but actually filmed, so we can show you guys what actually the whole thing that has happened, what we experienced, and we have a few of those that we're going to be showing you guys. So it comes from Yeah, we want good researchers. So we're gonna put the word out, and I think next year is gonna be a pretty fun year. But definitely the 2023 is probably gonna be bigger and better. So I'm already looking forward for a whole another year of stuff, and but even bigger, jam-packed year. So we're gonna put that in there. We're gonna put the word out that we actually want some researchers to, if you guys can able to come to Michigan and stuff, we're gonna put you up and put you in a place where there is Sasquatch and there's a lot of crap going on, and we're gonna take you out pretty much in the deepest spots we can go, and some of our favorite spots, some of these more interesting spots that it takes a certain individual to actually go into and research, and we don't we're not looking for people who are going to run and cry at the first sound of stuff that they hear. We don't want people who are don't know what they're doing. In a way, we want people who are kind of seasoned, people who get a general idea and sense of themselves and how they can operate in the wilderness environment. It would invite researchers that actually apply themselves in the field, and people who we think would be a good a match with us and be able to a good witness if stuff did happen. Because if you have people with you, more the merrier. And if we could get some more professional seeking researchers like ourselves to be able to witness stuff at the spots that we're witnessing stuff, I think it adds a lot more credibility, and so we're going to be putting the word out. You guys heard it here first.
Well, as you know, the Ohio Bigfoot Conference is coming up, and
yes, it is.
I can bring the word out there if you want me to.
Yeah, of course. Now, I don't know if I'll be going to that, but because there's some other stuff going on that I might be in the way, so I'll probably not get back in time. But if I go to that, yes, it'd be a pretty fun event, like it always is.
Yeah, so. I just wish Bobo was gonna go.
Yeah.
Because he's the one guy I haven't met yet that I want to meet. So.
Yeah.
I know he was there last year, so it's possible.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. He has a lot of interesting encounters that he's had and stories, and yeah, if you actually send the invite to him if he wants to come out with us, we'll make it happen. Because we want some some real deal people, honestly, and if we had Bobo and trudging through some of these places and had encounters and stuff happen,
Can I hit up Jim Sherman?
Yep.
Because
we're gonna have some open campouts. Pretty much, they're gonna be open invites, but not everyone, of course, is gonna be able to. Will get the final invitation, but because we want certain limits and stuff, but
get Carrie out here. He's probably
yeah. Actually, there's a potential for a huge camp out with real deal people, researchers, and actual people in the community that could come together and get stuff done, like the 168. Exactly. Yep. I think that is very possible, and so we're gonna put the invite out, and we're gonna have some fun this summer. It's gonna be a lot easier than winter. Obviously, we're not doing it in the winter for people, unless we really got some hardcore people and had a reason to go. Yeah, but we would take people out if they really wanted to go out in some of these places that we go. But we're gonna definitely be talking to some researchers. We're gonna be reaching out. We have there's a lot of people, very upstanding people interested, I think, and we're gonna make it happen. So, and it's gonna be fun. So this year and the next few years, you guys, is gonna be pretty awesome here in Michigan and for the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. We got a lot of stuff planned, and but honestly, we're just gonna be doing a lot of simple stuff, and that is just research and showing you guys, and having you guys tag along through the videos and through the channel, and honestly expressing ourselves. That's all we do around here, and gather knowledge that we've had through firsthand experience, and we try to present it to you guys, and so I can feel it. I feel like we're gonna have another good year. It's gonna be even better, and we're going to have a lot more people along with us that are going to be awesome people to experience stuff with. So we get better encounters and evidence, honestly. So that's kind of what we're about, what we're going to do. So, well, you're back, James.
Yeah, I'm back from just
eating.
You
want to? Do you have any other topics or anything you want to jump into, or any comments on that, or before we jump to the videos?
I didn't really hear what you said for like 5 minutes, but when I came back, you were talking about.
Yeah, I know. That's all right, man.
You were talking about people joining.
Yeah, inviting people out for a camp out. We're gonna have a few different things. More of an expedition and stuff, but probably one more that'd be more of a kind of general camp out, open to not like the non-serious one, but with more localized people, and probably people who are just want to get out there and never really been out there. Something that'd be a little easier. But when I'm talking about the actual researchers and coming down, it'd be a little bit difficult exploration that we would be conducting. But we want to do some camp outs and some meetings and stuff with the general public and some researchers in our area and people who are have encounters and stuff. So we'll be doing a few things over the next couple of years, and so look forward for that. But are you ready for the videos?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We got a couple of videos, some that we've shown on previous live shows, but James actually was out and got some interesting responses. You want to get into that of how this occurred, and then we'll play the video. And there is some swearing, of course, onto that, but this is documentation.
Unfortunately.
Well, in the excitement of things, people get excited, and
I couldn't really edit it out. I tried. It was going to mess with the integrity of the audio.
It's, educational purposes, and it does show the person's physiological and emotional response to hearing stuff that they get excited for. So
yeah, there might have been some drinking going on because there was emotional trauma. So that's another factor.
Yes, well, people do what they want, but anyways, it's for scientific purposes, so we're analyzing the sound of the calls that you got, and it seems to be something odd is going on within the commotion of what you guys are hearing, basically. So you were out there, and then you guys went out to go investigate stuff, and then you decided to make a Bigfoot call. Is that kind of how?
So yeah, we were out in this big forested. I mean, what's it called? a big clearing that was forested recently, and there's like an oil rig nearby. I'm pretty sure, oil pump, and I just blasted calls just to see if I'll get a response, and there was actually a lot of echo, so it was actually really fun too. And I think I got a total of 3 or 4, because after I got a response, I would respond back, and I just kept doing it until we got like a really good one, basically. And then I responded back to that one, and it got no response back. So, yep, that's pretty much what happened.
So, all right. And so we'll play this video, and then I'm going to ask some questions about it.
Oh, wait. After I also did one, there was like I don't know what it was. It was like a meteor like broke up in the sky, and everyone started freaking out. So it was like a weird coincidence type thing.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So let's play it for you guys.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
Going up. Shh. Turn your car off. Coyotes. Play it again.
Whoa, look at this. Right there.
Well, what?
It just split, and now the shit.
The light?
Yeah.
Yeah, the green.
You want me to do another one real quick? I'll just do a short one.
Yeah, do one, James. Put it up. Right. Have at it, bro. How about a deep one? Can you do a deep one?
Hold on. Wait for a response.
Heard that.
There you go.
Holy shit.
Told you wait for a response.
I heard that. Yep. Got the response. Do it again, James.
Yeah, do it again.
I did do one more. Do a long one, James.
Yeah, it came from this way.
Do it again.
Yeah, she responded right after.
Talk.
Look how long it took for the coyotes, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Do it again, James.
Go down.
Shit. Hear that? 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 Shit. Hear that?
Coyotes.
No. Fuck. No, that's not a coyote. That's a woman singing. That's a female swan.
See?
Now the coyotes go off.
She always sets the coyotes off.
She sets the coyotes
So there actually was like 3 calls in the beginning, but you could barely hear them. You'd have to like turn your speaker up like full blast pretty much, but there were distance calls.
Yeah, you guys rustled up some coyotes, obviously, but you had some calls
that's
coming.
that's why I said that was a coyote, because
Right,
the coyotes went off right after that.
Yeah, they went off at first, but then you guys had a response coming from another
Something.
direction,
Yeah.
and sounded different to you guys and stuff. That is obviously interesting. You know, very, very cool stuff. So, what do you guys think in chat? You already got.
I think he was saying that to my call. 'Cause he said that
sorry.
before.
Well, you got a little warning. If you could read fast enough, you had a warning that you're about to have your eardrums blasted. But that is why James is called the Caller Kid, and his technique that he uses, seemingly whatever special magic it has, tends to get pretty good responses. So
Yeah, I learned that either wakes the woods up or it shuts the woods up, and literally nothing will. It'll either wake up the woods and something will respond, or coyotes, Bigfoot, wolves, or literally nothing will respond. No birds, no crickets. Like, it'll go quiet.
yeah, it's very interesting. It works and stuff. And
and on that last call I did, they got that good response. My my pipes were dying. Because I didn't have any water. Well, I mean, I had water with me, but I wasn't drinking it. So after like 3 or 4 repeated calls, it's gonna start not doing so well.
Yeah, it takes a toll on you, and it works. You know, we do make calls. You know, when we go out there, we try a variety of stuff. If it works then we use it, and we do make calls when we're out there. A lot of calls, you know, typically. We start off making quiet calls, and then if nothing seemingly happens, we progress to louder stuff, and then bust out the Caller Kid. And,
I'm the whip.
He'll make his call, and we'll go from there. But yeah, you know, in a lot of places, you don't really have to make that big of a call. But it is awesome when you do it and you get these responses. And
Yeah. The first couple responses I did get, they were just like calls in the distance. They weren't anything like the last one where it changed like pitch a few times. So that one was definitely more unique. And I don't think it was a fox, for anyone that might say it was a fox. Because right after it went off, coyotes went off. So, you know, I don't know if foxes can do that or not.
And what time was this? This was
I'm gonna have to check, but it was pretty late at night.
Right. This is at nighttime, of course. And hey, it's interesting enough. So we got that obviously on the audio equipment, and you know, I think it's probably pretty good enough that you could possibly maybe graph it and compare it to stuff. But I think it's.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah. I don't know if I just have the I don't think I have the software to really do it in terms of like an audio.
Well, you know,
I don't know what they're called. Yeah.
You know, I've looked at it, I've done that stuff, and that you know, there's a lot of, the hardest thing is there's a lot of regular animal sounds that we're still categorizing and getting, and there's a lot of average sound and normal everyday sounds that we kind of know and have cataloged, but there's a lot of unique sounds that people just haven't really experienced because a lot of people aren't out there, and even National Geographic is not in every single spot of all the animals, but because we know that famous Sasquatch calls turned out to be coyote very unique coyote mating ritual calls that were not very well known until very recently. So it just kind of goes to show that there's still a lot of normal everyday animal knowledge and stuff that scientists are still learning and studying. I mean, they're studying all these animals every single day, and there's a lot that they're evolving their theories on the evolution and biology of all these animals. So it's very interesting stuff. And when you apply it to Bigfoot, and it just grows. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting video. And you have other calls and stuff on your YouTubes and stuff that are very interesting. And it just kind of points to shows that Bigfoots are kind of vocal, and they do announce themselves in the middle of the night, because no other creature is doing it, really. Humans don't shout out in the middle of the night anymore, unless you're Sasquatching, of course. But
All right, I don't know the exact time it happened, but it was around midnight.
yeah, I thought you when you told me this, and when it first happened, it was like after midnight or so, or
I might be able. I don't know if my recorder has the time right on it, so I'm not sure exactly.
all right. So we got I was showing orb video that was captured here in Michigan. Hopefully you guys can see it. So what you guys are looking for is a blinking light. It is going to be in the middle of the screen towards the right side. So middle right side. And it's going to be blinking over and over. And you guys can see that. So that's where it's going to be at, so you guys can find it. It'll be a little easier to find. We'll have to play it a few times for you guys so you guys can see it. It's only a couple seconds long. So we're going to get you guys' opinions on this and go from there. All right, so you guys are looking for the blinking light, and it's in the middle towards the right, slightly towards the right.
I did not see it.
Yeah, if you looking from StreamYard.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
You gotta really look. It's blinking. And so for the people at home, hopefully you guys can see it better. Obviously, if you're reviewing this on YouTube, you want to go to your settings, the three dots up there at the corner. You want to click and make sure your resolution is set at the highest scale possible, and not whatever YouTube is running at, because it's very low. They always run it very low. So,
or the cog, you can go to quality and change it.
Yes, and honestly, anytime you want to review evidence and look at stuff, you want to be on a computer, or you want to be on a TV, or if you have a nice phone, it's pretty good. But usually the bigger the screen. All right, so we're going to take a look at it again. It's blinking and stuff. So this is out in the middle of the woods, and this was actually caught on the GoPro. So this is actually how bright it is. GoPros do not shoot at nighttime. And this was observed for a couple minutes before we walked up to it. And when we walked up to it, it would disappear. And then, obviously, when this is shot, this is a very small clip of what happened. But I walk up to it, I seemingly step on it, and then we walk out of it, and it keeps blinking. But this was the only thing that was captured on camera. So again, it's the middle towards the right slightly. And it's going to be blinking a couple times. And it is on a loop, so it blinks I think it blinks once or twice. But yeah, we were seeing it with the naked eye, and it wasn't fireflies or anything like that. It just definitely caught us off guard. One of those things that we can't really explain. I walked right over it, and it was still happening. And so yeah, there's a little odd orb or pulsating light, I guess.
Were you able to see through the camera as well, or just your naked eye?
No, I was shooting with a GoPro.
Oh, okay.
And,
So you had no idea.
No, we were seeing it with our naked
Okay.
eyes, and that was the only thing that we could see. We couldn't see it through the equipment, and that was the only thing that was caught. Yeah, because we could see it, and we were trying to film it and obviously investigate it and go up to it, and I pretty much walked right on top of it. Then after we filmed it, it stopped, and of course we moved on, and we were having Bigfoot activity. Not at the exact same time, but we had activity, an hour, I would say, before that. And it was interesting. So, not saying it's Bigfoot related and stuff, but it's just something interesting that we caught. It was a glowing, pulsating light. It looked like a light, and it did not look like a light bulb, a lightning bug. It looked like an actual light. So yeah. Well, something we caught. So there's that. And that, of course, has only been shown on these live shows. So anyone who really watches it has only seen that. So it's not really out there too much. So you never know. If we've seen orbs, and if we film odd stuff, if we see any odd stuff, we're trying to film it. And this is just one of these things that you can't really explain, but I don't know, something we've seen, and it is caught on video.
Now, what does that mean, though?
I don't know. Honestly, we were having stuff happen, but we were just walking. We just turned and noticed that hey, this was going on.
No, I meant just a
It
blinking
looked
light.
very odd. We walk up to it and try to document it, and you're pretty much is up to speculation. The only thing that we could figure out it really didn't look like a bug at all, a lightning bug, and I didn't hear nothing move or anything, and it was just weird. So documented it, got it as evidence, and that's as good as it's gonna get, unfortunately. But there's a lot of weird stuff out there. There's a lot of weird stuff that can happen, and I think a lot of people are seeing that. And I've seen other orbs out there, and what's going on? I don't know. It wasn't swamp gas or anything, because that area wasn't a swamp. I don't know, but it's in the same areas as Sasquatch, so maybe it's the area, maybe it's something to do with the landscape. There's a lot of talk about the ley lines and a lot of old Native American stuff, possibly, and speculation is endless. But we do know that there was a blinking light there. That was very odd, and there was Bigfoot activity that did happen that night too, the same area. So
I'm just asking because I see blinking orbs all the time.
yeah, like I said, a lot of this should look on a computer or or something that it's easier to look at. But it is very small, and we got lucky to capture it. But I don't know what it is. I don't know. Should I say it's an orb or is it a blinking light? I mean, it was very odd light that caught our eye in the woods as we were walking, and it was bright enough that we catch it on the GoPro, but yet it wasn't really caught on the night vision. So very odd, right? So very odd stuff.
It's probably paranormal.
Yeah, I mean, just stuff that's happening out there, and we're trying to document it and present it to you guys. So here we got the backstory on this is this was a tail end of an expedition here in Michigan that we did in the Lost Cryptids. Had a lot of fun. We had a lot of interesting stuff happen, and we actually got lucky and had some stuff recorded. So this is as I'm passing out after a long night of going through the woods and this is hours and hours and hours. This is probably like 3 a.m, 4 o'clock in the morning, or even 5 o'clock. I could look at the timestamp, but after of getting possible activity of what we thought was good stuff, and other people we got tracks, and unfortunately they were casted, but the material that was used was not good stuff, and unfortunately they never turned out properly. But we did find some tracks, and we did have some interesting stuff happen, some rocks thrown at people, stuff, drumming sounds. James, actually, if you want, we can talk about that real quick, because it will lead good into this. First I heard drumming. It's tap, bum, 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 bum. And it was coming from, where I was. I'm down on this hill. James is up over a hill.
Yeah, I was
And beside me is woods.
Yeah,
It's not woods, but it's a cover, bushes and brush. And I heard it over here behind me tapping, boom, 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 a couple of times. Well, I end up passing out because I'm tired again. And this was the night before the clip that we're gonna play. So, but it was storming, very crazy, I'm hearing this drumming and stuff. So I think probably someone else. They're in the car next to me. Sounds weird, sounds odd. But I pass out. I'm tired. So about half hour, 45 minutes later, James texted me. And what'd you text me, James? And what happened?
I was trying to sleep in my car, and I have a small car, so it was very uncomfortable, and I was having a hard time falling asleep. Also, the rain was hitting my windows, and it was just really hard to sleep. So yeah, I just hear this like drumming noise. I wasn't sure what it was, so I text Blake, just maybe he was awake. Be like, I hear a drumming coming from your direction. Do you know what it is? I think I said maybe.
Yep.
I don't know what it was.
But where you heard it, where'd you hear from? This is the opposite location of where I'm at.
It was like straight ahead towards those bushes by your car, though, sort of.
We're closer to you, up on the hill.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a different time. And you didn't hear the drumming the first time when I heard it by me.
I mean, I might have. It's possible.
Well, you didn't text me like you texted this.
Yeah, I'm saying like maybe I heard it and then just.
Obviously, if you didn't think it was something, you probably wouldn't have texted me.
No, I'm saying maybe I heard it and then just kept listening, and then I just kept hearing it maybe, and I was like, well, this is a little weird, and then I just texted you, I think. That's possible. I don't remember. I remember texting you, but
I'm sure you have this written down somewhere. You like to write this down.
yeah, I do somewhere. I can probably look and find it, honestly.
It's all right, man. Yeah, I know you got your stuff written down, but yeah, it was interesting because that night during the storm, okay, me and him are hearing this drumming. Maybe before this, simultaneously, or after this, there's other people who said that they were looking out their car window and it's storming. It's a very severe tornado storm, tornado warning and stuff.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get hit for sure. Looking at that,
it missed us and landed.
radar.
It kept going. But we were, in our
We were
cars.
within like 5 miles of getting hit.
Yeah, that's close. So as everyone's, in their cars and stuff, and it's raining like cats and dogs, there was a Sasquatch that seemingly, someone said that someone was running out there or walking and
running in between cars and stuff,
dashing in between cars, basically. And they could hear the footsteps.
And they just thought it was somebody out there like using the bathroom, pretty much. Because who would be out there in the rain?
Dashing in between the cars. It was very odd, of course. And then when we had a fellow member, Ernie, leave, in his headlights, he had seen something. Someone and they were in the brush, out of camp. A humanoid silhouette of a person that, tried to, in his words, hide from his headlights as he was, starting his car and pulling out. So, that was very odd because, no one from camp would be trying to duck and hide away from someone's car lights.
We know of.
No, and
could have been a homeless guy.
All these instances add up, especially since the whole time there we experienced stuff and had evidence of stuff. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say I remember I found where the drumming was, but
yeah, you get that mark. You get that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I do. Yes, about
I know where
1 in the morning to like 1:14 in the morning. It just kept going pretty much.
Okay, so now I heard this an hour before this is when I heard it, and then I passed out.
Actually, can I?
And then you're hearing this, and it's in a different spot. It seems like, and of course, it was amazing because it kind of showed that they're very active during storms and rain. And severe weather. So, I mean, super severe weather. They were, running around and seemingly playing in it, but not afraid to run in between cars. And it was so bad out that the person never did get a good look or anything, but the odd qualities of it, the way it moved and the sound of the thumps in the ground as it moved, that a regular person is not making because we don't weigh this as much as Sasquatch does. And so the following night, we go out and we explore all day and go out all night. We find tracks and we have some stuff happen, and we have people hearing stuff, and rocks seemingly are thrown towards camp, and it seems like there's activity is very close to us. So it's very end of the night. Everyone's going to sleep in their tents, and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm one of the last people up and probably the last person up, and I'm on my phone, but I get the recording out, set it up, and I end up passing out. And about 5 minutes after I pass out, and you can hear my breathing, you can tell I'm sleeping. We have an incident that happens that is very close to camp, and it makes me, I don't wake up, but it makes me kind of roll over and and snort. And so it was kind of the climate, the very end of things to happen. It was kind of a check marker to this, the rubber stamp of, you know, all these things adding up to Sasquatch activity. And so we'll play this clip right here.
Oh wait, I mean I'll talk about it afterwards. Continue.
All right, it's all good. It's all good.
I don't think it played.
Yeah, I thought something was up. Let me try that again. Give me a second. It might be on my end.
Yeah, it's not playing for some reason.
All right, I'm gonna try something else. But that's weird. Anyways, basically, something gets pushed over, very close to my tent. I never do wake up though, and then of course the audio recorder eventually runs out, but nothing else does happen. Maybe a pop or two, but nothing really definitive. But very clear, a clear audio of something being pushed over. And this was the very end of the night, the very last thing that happened after a bunch of instances. And so it leads me to think that it was Sasquatch, obviously.
I found when I texted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I texted you 1:45 in the morning, and I was like, "Sorry if I wake you up, but for the past 45 minutes, I've been hearing a somewhat loud drumming noise coming from your direction, and wanted to know if you heard it and or what it is. It happens once every second, and when it stops, it's like for 30 seconds, and then it starts up again. And I was hearing it coming from around the gate or directly towards the road, directly straight towards the road or in those bushes, I guess.
Yeah.
It was in that general area. But in my notes,
that was
in my notes,
whole hour after I did.
I thought it was like a boombox or something. That's how loud it was.
All right, so let's play it. I think see if this works. Is it playing for you guys?
No.
No. Hmm. I don't know. It beats me. Used to. I'm doing it off the computer, and when I do it off my phone, it acts like it's a different account. And I know I have that video set up on that, and we played it, but it won't load up on here. Whatever.
That's weird.
Very interesting stuff. You know, we used to have a lot of problems with odd stuff that would happen to the stream and malfunctions and weird stuff that would only happen when the stream started or right before. It would actually happen before the live stream would start, and then only happen during the time frame of the stream in about an hour, and then it would work. So
It could be corrupted as well. You might have to re-download it onto it.
It is on the YouTube channel. What you can do is look on the previous videos and scroll through various content we have, and actually it's going to be I think it's bedtime recordings or nighttime audio evidence. We got a few different stuff on there, so nestled away in all the live shows and stuff we got actual videos on those sort of things. But another good video would be the live show where we show all the evidence, where we showed a lot of different video clips and audio clips of different stuff that we got, stuff that was only ever really aired in that video, or that live stream, I should say. All at once, especially, but that's a bummer. Well, that's just like Tyler's clip and stuff. I still can't really figure out why that single clip won't work, even though it works everywhere else I play it to and use. So, in different video editors and stuff like that, and it's very, very weird. So it just won't play on here.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That is what I thought. So so we'll play some other sounds here. We got some sounds of some calls that were responses from the caller kid. Actually, he busted out some calls, and we got some different responses that was actually caught. It was very interesting enough that the people in the group were reacting to. So this was on another Lost Cryptid expedition where we led people and into a very interesting spot. It was very fun. So
when was this?
Let's take a listen.
What's that? What's that?
I got a signal out here. I got a signal out here.
All right. So those were pretty interesting audio. At first, some could point to a coyote, but the other sounds, were very drastically different. In fact, the reaction from the people on the expedition was not that of a coyote. So.
Yeah, they're a little weird. That's for sure.
a little weird. There's stuff that we have to compare to other stuff, and yeah, we'll try not to blast you guys' eardrums off with any loud calls from the caller kid on these videos. But we got some other stuff we'll kick out here.
I was gonna reduce them in my video, and then I was like, nah, they should hear what I sound like full blast.
Let their ears suffer. Let them get the full experience of the caller kids
Exactly.
call. Yeah. Hey, and you guys can use that as your own recording, right? So
Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to, go for it.
it's out there. But
I think recordings aren't that great compared to like the real thing, though.
no, I think overall, like playing recorded Bigfoot calls and stuff. I think overall it sounds good, but like the closer and more detailed the Sasquatch can hear it, can probably tell that there's something off.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
mechanical, like electronical. That's going to be obviously very different. But I think in certain situations, obviously, it has shown to get responses. But clearly, if you're playing the Sierra Sounds or the Ohio Bigfoot call or some of these other Bigfoot calls that are seem to be pretty real, it has proven to get some responses and stuff. So, and if it works, you should try it and stuff. Be careful about it because you don't know what they're saying. But I think in general, if we're trying to get evidence, if we're trying to actually improve the species, and if it works, then keep doing it and trying to get the evidence of the response recorded. Which is the hard part, there's a lot of stories out there. There's a lot of encounters and there's a lot of experiences with researchers, but getting the evidence is hard, and it is out there, and a lot of it's not seen by the people. A lot of people watch the shows and watch different stuff, and they skip out on the evidence videos. They skip out on the real stuff those researchers are trying to actually show you. So, which just kind of sucks. But the fact that there is researchers out there that are actually getting pretty good evidence, from what I can see, is good. It shows a lot of promise in the future of this subject. So I think there's a lot of different individuals and groups out there that are doing a really good job, and I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff in the next, definitely next year and the next coming years. I think you're going to have an explosion of hopefully breakthroughs and hopefully better evidence, so we can move forward and not have another 50 years of the Patterson films, the only good film that we have. Like
high definition, basically, where you can see
anything.
stuff.
I mean, honestly, not
blurry.
Not this obvious hoax stuff, not obvious fake stuff that is getting circled and recycled around. Of these old hoaxes that people know are hoaxes, and new generation, younger kids, and people who are just getting into the subject. They don't really know, and they don't know all the players. They don't know all the people in the community, But there's been a lot of hoaxing since Bigfoot's been since the Patterson film. There's a lot of people hoaxing all the way through, the 80s and 90s and all the way till now. Of it's always been a part of the community, and that's why a lot of people don't believe in Sasquatch, because wasn't that just a hoax and all this and all that, and these dead bodies that were supposed to be shown to the public, and it was fake. And so there's a lot of that going on, a lot of con artist people in the Bigfoot community, because a lot of people getting into this, dude, they don't know what's real and what's not, and who's who, and a lot of stories are pretty.
Well, I don't think you're right. Most people just don't believe in Bigfoot in general. Like
Right.
they just think it's some guy just making it up, and then another guy's making it up. Pretty much.
Well, yeah, a lot of
They just
people
don't believe.
dismiss it.
Think with all this land and stuff, you'd think there'd be a body found by now. Basically, they don't understand that the government has control in that.
Well, yeah, and I think naturally they take care of their own bodies and stuff. They obviously dispose of them in such a way that they're typically not found by humans. But yeah, if you found a body and stuff and try to go public, it'd be probably hard, very hard.
Unless
Obviously,
you're like a very popular like social media person, you could probably get it out there to millions.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely ways and stuff, but it's as of now, it's not taken seriously. But when people get into the Bigfoot community, they look at it, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's a lot of different spectrums and sides of things and thought and what people think these creatures can and cannot do. A lot of people would say, it's pretty crazy. A lot of people just think you're crazy by looking for Bigfoot, and then when you say, well, there's some people who believe that they can, do more
Shapeshift.
paranormal stuff and jump through portals and stuff, and then they say you go into
Portals.
crazy, but I think there's a lot of odd stuff out there, and I think Bigfoot's a very natural thing, and it can do has some abilities that seem supernatural, because I know they've been super close to me. It's on film. They're extremely close to me, and yet
They're just really good at
I
camouflaging.
cannot see or sense them, or I didn't think they were that close. Is it paranormal stuff? No, I don't think so. Does it look like paranormal
They
stuff
just
going on in video?
adapted to their surroundings for many
Yeah,
years
yeah,
that they can
they're
blend
silent
in.
and stuff. There's biological stuff going on that explains it. Now, if they're shape-shifting and going through portals and transforming into orbs, and we catch it on film, well, then we're gonna,
Then I'll believe it. Yeah.
here you go, guys, and then you guys can see it, and well, I don't know. When we get to that spot, we'll figure it out then. But as of now, nothing in my experience really points to paranormal stuff, but I think they might have some natural abilities that are pretty amazing.
And maybe that paranormal stuff you capture on camera is actual ghosts and not Bigfoot. Just coincidentally, they're there.
Yeah, you never know. There's other stuff happening out there that could be its own separate entity,
That too.
not Bigfoot. But I think Bigfoot are very special and have a lot of unique evolutionary traits and talents that they use, and they get extremely close. I'm not joking. They can get so close to you guys that they're they can just be within arm's reach and get you within. You're talking about milliseconds. You're talking. When me and Jason had our encounter, we were so close to a group of them. 1, 2, at least 3. At least minimum of 3, maybe a fourth one, probably a fourth one. It was intense. They were all around us, and they were walking around us. You would think you would hear a 8 foot tall, 800-pound creature or more walking around, especially when they crossed in front of Jason, and yet you hear it. You don't really hear it, especially when it's right there, or when it stops. We stop hearing it, and it's still right there. How are they able to navigate through thick a thick, woods and forests and places without making a sound. Seemingly. I mean, it's very, very odd stuff. But, it's in those situations that I think if you do something wrong, you might not make it out. You will go missing, and there's a lot of missing people. And I can tell you firsthand that from me and Jason's encounter that we had together, and watching the footage that I have and the evidence that I collected and what he shot, if we would have made these things mad, they were so close that,
You're dead.
No, it's just awesome. It's just very awesome, the circumstances, and it did show the intelligence and stuff. But I'm telling you what, these things are able to get so close that if a grizzly bear or a black bear was that close to a person and decided to, I mean, you're not doing nothing. So it's a Sasquatch. It's going to be probably even more faster, just as fast. Yeah, there's so yeah, that's going to be on video. You guys can see it. The film, he doesn't start filming until after I put my gun on my shoulder, but because at first they announced themselves by making some movement noise and got our attention, and I slung my gun at them. It pointed towards the ground, but at their direction, being at the ready, and very quickly realized that it was not a bear, it wasn't anything that I was on the defense for, and they very quickly realized, it was potential Sasquatch stuff. And then he starts filming, and then very, very quickly, we start seeing them. And Jason sees it first, and I get a peek and look at them, and we observe them for a couple of minutes. And then you guys can see it and watch it. So it's going to be in his documentary first, and we're going to give it some time, and then we're going to drop it here and dissect it and see what you guys think, and really go over it, because there's a lot of interesting stuff, and it's being there in person and watching it and seeing it, it's pretty intense. Knowing that I'm in this situation, Jason's in this situation, I'm sure he feels the same way when he's watching this. I know he does. How come if they were this close that we knew they were this close, but how come? I mean, if they were this close, we didn't hear them, and we didn't, hear, just very odd stuff. But it was like they announced themselves to us, and they were watching us and observing us, and were around us, and at any one point, they were around us, but they were moving around us, but yet we didn't hear them. And that is why they're a mystery. There's more going on to them. There's something, it's not paranormal, but it's definitely something extra. So if and that's highly stressful, intense situation for anyone, and you can definitely see it on Jason's face more than mine. But you gotta stay calm, cool, and collective, and observe what was happening. Get a rational sense of what is actually happening. What are you actually observing, and making sure that it's a Sasquatch and not another animal, not a regular animal. It wasn't a raccoon, that we were seeing and looking at. It wasn't, a possum that ran across the trail that Jason seen. That spider crawled across the trail. That was standing up, dropping down, spider crawled away. Like, we're observing and making sure, like, obviously it wasn't that, making sure what we seen, you being very, very intense situation when you know that this is the real deal stuff. When they showed themselves and we're watching them and we're pointing and Jason's looking and saying, there's two of them, look at them, and I'm looking at them. They know that we're looking at them. That it just shows that they're not an animal. They had a way about it. They showed themselves. I honestly asked them, and this is in the video. I asked them to show themselves to us even more. I said, show yourselves in front of us. Walk in front of us. This is after we were watching them and stuff. And one walked in front of Jason. And I ended up saying thank you and stuff to them. And we walked back to camp out of respect, out of, the way I research of the Native American ways and stuff. And did they understand English and stuff? Did they do it because I asked? I have no idea. But I did ask. And I was doing Native American stuff. And, we didn't stay there. And, when we first seen them and looked at them and stuff, we eventually walked right to where they were standing. But we didn't chase after these things. We didn't, it was a very intense situation, and having those things around us and getting that sort of interaction of them showing us, out of respect towards them, I didn't want to push the envelope and make them mad. You don't want to make them mad, but I wanted to bring them to camp where we had more equipment and better stuff to capture them on, capture evidence. And so we walked back to camp. But they did follow us back to camp. People did see them do thermal. It doesn't record. For some reason, some of the camp audio did not really capture, you would think, these things walking by camp that particular night. Now, other nights we actually did have stuff at camp that was caught and video that was caught of them very close to camp. But that particular night when we walked them back to camp, some of the stuff wasn't caught that you think should be. And so yeah, very intense situation. They got a very good look at us. They were obviously observing us. They were making sure that when they took this chance of announcing themselves, that I wasn't going to go turn around and shoot them, or there's a possibility I was going to. And they were, if they made the decision, knowing I had a gun to announce themselves, they knew that, I had the potential to turn around and point the gun at them, which I kind of did, but to, potentially shoot at them. And they were ready and accepted that possibility because they initiated the contact. And so that says a lot. You guys are going to be able to, you guys are going to watch the video, and you're going to have to watch what's happening and what's, believe what you're seeing, and you're going to have to believe me and Jason in our encounter. But to me, it showed a lot. It showed the thought process and tactical thought that, we're going to take this chance on this guy, and he might turn around and shoot at us. And they accepted that fact, and they were ready for it. And then, they initiated contact. So obviously to them, it was already factored in, and it wasn't a bother to them. It didn't bother them, because if they were really scared about me turning around and shooting them, they would never have made contact. But I did turn around, I did raise my gun, and very quickly I put it away. And so obviously, very quickly, they understood that. They were very accepting of that. I mean, they didn't, freak out when I pointed the gun at them. And in turn, when we were watching them and we were having this visual and stuff, and hearing stuff around us. We could hear one to the right, so that made 3 right off the bat. We did not freak out. I made sure Jason, knew, we gotta stay calm and stuff. We did not freak out at all. No matter what was gonna happen, no matter what we seen, we were not to freak out. So, because of of them showing themselves to us, even though I have a gun to me, it's on my back. I had the gun pointing at them. I put it away. They showed themselves. We were to remain calm in that situation. Yeah, I think that was an opportunity, obviously, because that doesn't happen, and we were trying to get it on film, and we were standing at first. Jason's really good camera. I tried to get in my night vision camera. It's not as good as Jason's. I can't see in it, and Jason, you can't really see nothing. We are able to see it with our naked eyes, and we were watching them. Jason catches other stuff on his camera, though, later on. But when we first encountered these things, we are trying to get it on film, and unfortunately, they were just beyond where the film would have captured them. Massive heads. When they first showed out, they were tree peeking. Jason seen it first and observed it closing its eyes and opening back up. And he says, I see that. I see you. And then, it opens its eyes back up, and I observe it. And there was another one that walked in. Now there's 2 of them. One's lower to the ground, and there's one standing up. And I remember the one lower to the ground is how massive the heads were. You could see the silhouette, but just how massive the head was. And Jason's pointing at it. We're looking at it. They know that we're looking at them, and they're remaining calm, and we're remaining calm. And this is in Michigan. Yes, this is in Michigan. And, like I said, we walk over there, which it's a very intense situation, right? And I know Jason's, pretty freaked out. I'm freaked out myself, even though I'm remaining really calm because I can't believe this is happening. And, I know that these things are very massive and they're powerful, and this situation is very intense. And so when we walk over there, I start kind of singing my Native American, the name for them, and Jason kind of, he goes la 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 and stuff, and it's and we do it in a way to show that we don't mean any harm. We're trying to show that we don't mean any harm at all. In a tense situation that in a way that we felt that would work. Music. Because we walked right up to where they were standing, because again, I want to maybe be dumb and stuff, but we're trying to get the evidence, trying to get in my camera, and they did not let us. They scattered it away, and we walked up to them, and then we walked back, and then Jason seen them across the trail, and got some other stuff on the camera, so it's very interesting. But very intense situation. Any wrong movement or any I just anything that could have went wrong, freaking out at these creatures, shooting these creatures, yelling or something at these things. But it was, we tried to make the understanding of staying calm. And there was a moment when I hit a branch, or some rustling happened because I hit a branch, and Jason kind of got startled and freaked out a little bit, and then they heard a little bit of crunching and stuff, movement of their own. They got startled or something, and I was just kind of like, we're all calm, we're all good, and I put my hands up and actually showing that, we're trying to show in a way that we're all good, and that we're all calm, and but what Jason caught in video shows, that they're very close, and there were multiple ones From that, we definitely know there was 3 of them at the very least, and we are thinking that there was 4. So big. So big guys, big individuals. The ones that we seen were, the one was I would say, 8 foot off the ground, but the other one that was hunched over, and he had a massive head on him. I mean, I'm talking huge. So I mean, you're talking pretty big individuals that could have just dominated us in such a way. I mean, they didn't have to make a noise. This is the craziest part: is if they never announced their presence to us. I mean, we were walking away. We had our backs turned. They could have done anything. They could have taken us out. We would have went missing. We never showed up back at camp. They didn't have to announce themselves. We could have just walked back to camp. But the fact that they did, and the interaction we got was amazing. It's pretty amazing, and pretty lucky that we encountered it. So I'm very glad that Jason encountered it, because he's a awesome guy. Jason Kenzie, a animal photojournalist and Michigan, or a Sasquatch documentary filmmaker. So that's what he's doing now. He's in British Columbia. He hangs out in Canada. He came to Michigan for the Lost Cryptids expedition, and we got some great experiences out of it. So very lucky to have him tag along. So yeah, that video will come out next year, a couple months, and we will go through it and look at it and wonder, just beg it, just more questions than answers. If they understood what we were saying to them, if they understood that I think they did understood that, we were calm in the situation, and we were, pretty much friendly. I don't know exactly what more would have happened if we would have just stayed there, and chancing the situation, exactly what would have happened, like regular primates and stuff in the wild. When you encounter them, there's certain things you don't want to do. Obviously, you don't want to look at them in the eyeball, and you don't want to challenge them in any way. But you can, and there are obviously videos of, and this is how they were studied, of them, hanging around their groups. But there's obviously stuff, you have to watch out for, certain stuff you don't want to do. So, how far do you want to push it when you're actually in that situation? And that is as close as one could possibly get at nighttime while filming, and still not get them on film. But yeah, they're very close. I mean, did they know that the camera couldn't see them and that we could? I mean, I had a very amazing hunting lamp that died just a couple minutes before, 30 minutes before. If I would have had that light and I would have shined it at them, the cameras would have caught it, because that light would have shined, and they would definitely have caught it. We would have had a better look at it, and all the ones that were around us, we would have been able to see. But if I would have had that light, would this encounter it even happen? So everything worked out the way it did, and when you're in that situation, it really begs the question: how far do you want to push it? How far can you push it safely? Because your life's in their hands. So it really taught me a lot. So James, when you're out there, especially when you're out there with me, and we go on these spots, and we have Tyler along with us, and we get these interactions that are close. Do you want to push the envelope? How far are we going to push the envelope? And in terms of
It depends.
I assume that we're going to be in more of those situations in different spots all across the state.
I'd say it depends on the situation and where you're at in terms of a wooded area, more of a clearance, base camp, you know. I guess it depends.
Well, been a lot of places here in Michigan, and there's a lot of places to go and a lot of places that I think people don't go. And I think they are individualistic, but so far they've all been very curious and not so aggressive, even though there's been evidence of missing people and stuff in these areas. I think it is possible to build a type of relationship with them enough that they at least they might not outright attack you, and might tolerate you enough that maybe you could get possible evidence of interaction. And that's the kind of what the niche we're trying to get into is being, if you're going to go to these areas and you're going to bug these things and you're going to push into them and you're going to bust open on their dinner time and interrupt their hunts, maybe you would want to be kind of tolerated by these things and maybe liked, so that when you're out there being dumb, tromping through the wood looking for these things, and you interrupt their dinner party, and they're all kind of grumpy at you, that hey, it's that dumb little guy who's out here looking for us, if they're going to teach you a lesson like they probably might do to any other person, at least maybe they wouldn't scare you too much, and then it might save your life actually if you have a type of respect or a type of a situation where they kind of know you and know what you're about, and you don't make them mad. And they kind of like you and like what how you operate in the woods. If you're someone who they don't like, and then you're out there making them mad, missing them, make them miss their dinners and stuff, they might be more inclined to, what, I think it's about time that this guy's gonna go missing. I think it'd be better to be on the more friendly side of these things and maybe have a few chances before we really get scared by them. Because these things are individualistic. If they're human with human characteristics and human emotions, and the ability to stay calm and control their emotions, not be ran by their instinct and gut, but they can think and strategize and have emotional control of the situation and decide if they want to announce their presence and have an interaction or decide and do this. I mean, they're going to be watching individuals, watching people, and I think most of the time they decide to avoid people or scare people out of the area, not direct conflict. But if you do the wrong thing and you make them mad, or you do the wrong thing over a period of time, it's bad news for you. But if you do friendly interactions and curious interactions, and even the playful interactions, I think you're going to get a lot more stuff. And so far it's been good for us and for my personal journey in the subject of aggressive stuff yet. But there's definitely reports, and it does keep me on guard and stuff, because I do know that the potential of these things really doing some damage is there. So don't give them the finger. Yeah. Don't shoot at them if they're not doing nothing to you, is what I would say. And remain calm. I mean, if one literally shows itself to you, or is obvious you have to remain calm, and you probably don't shoot it. Obviously, don't want to make it mad. If you're a researcher and you're trying to research and gain their trust, then that's what you're trying to think of. You're in a sense of how the apes are like that too. I mean, if you look and study of how that was done, gaining their respect and gaining, allowing them to have you around them, observing you, that takes time and takes trust. And I think with these things, it's a whole different level. And you're talking about human level intellect and stuff. So maybe there's a way, eventually that they would communicate with people. Sit down, say like this, be in the open, show themselves. The exact same encounter that me and Jason had, except for during the daylight, where we could see them, and then maybe like scary in the bush, and we would hopefully have them come out in the open and I don't know, sit down, do something, scurry around us. But if you had that same encounter during the daytime, we would have got it on film, and it'd be awesome. And I think it'd be amazing. So, I mean, but if we could get that encounter and those types of encounters of these curious interactions where they let us know that they're right there and they're kind of showing us and they're hanging out, as long as everything's cool and awesome and nothing's a problem, everyone understands that we're in this situation of playing and not being aggressive towards each other. I think they're going to be more apt, especially during the daytime. They'd be probably more apt to peek at you, to show yourselves a little bit more. Maybe they'd actually come out of the tree line and show themselves. If you're not freaking out at them, and they've already let you know that they're there and stuff, like what happened with me and Jason. I think the potential would be there that they would probably walk out and you could get in a camera. Depending on how freaked out you would get, you could stand there and get in a camera, and they might interact, maybe show some gesturing or something. I mean, we don't know. We would just have to see and observe what exactly they would be doing, and that would show us a lot of how they would gesture to us and all that. So that is the hope, is to get that same kind of encounter, but during the daytime, and get the evidence. And I don't know if they come out. Hopefully, you better hope it's good, because if that thing is mad at you, it's gonna attack or really really do something. And but if we can get a good interaction going and them coming out of the woods on camera, full view, as close as they were when me and Jason see them at nighttime, we'd have some pretty damn good evidence. So yeah.
Do you know who that is? I was gonna say something.
Yeah. See you on the next 168. All right, that's awesome, man. I hope. I can't wait, man. If you're on, I can't wait to see you there, and it's gonna be fun, man. Florida was fun. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that kind of distracted me a little bit. So glad to have you in the chat and taking a listen.
Who'd
maybe
you
we'll get you on the show here one of
Did you
these
say
days.
what it was?
Huh?
Who's Bigfoot Anon?
Bigfoot and on.
Yeah, who is that? Do you know? Is what I meant to say.
I don't know too much about him, but I know he's a channel here on YouTube, and he's a researcher, and he's does a lot of seemingly good stuff. What I've looked into and heard from him, he's like me. He likes a lot of the crazy conspiracy theories and beyond the ancient technology and giants and all the weird stuff that is possibilities that are out there. Um, yeah, I've only seen a little bit of interviews and stuff, but I know he goes out there and he tries, and uh, applying himself in the subject. So that's what we like to see. Is at least people are out there trying and actively going out these areas that most people don't do, and even some of the bigger researchers that claim to be Bigfoot researchers
Apparently,
are not really doing. They're camping out and going on the actual expedition should be two different things.
Apparently, he does paranormal stuff.
Yeah, he does he has a lot of different opinions on different stuff, and it's not all Bigfoot, and it's
Oh, is he in Florida?
yeah, I think he's in Florida. Yep, and
Was he with you when on the 168 or no?
What?
Was he with y'all on the 168?
No.
Is he going to
I think
be?
he's coming into the next one is what he's applying to.
Okay.
Yep, we're gonna be planning for that here, going through all that, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be work. Actually, this time around, it's gonna be more intense and actual. The way that Carrie wants to film it, filming it all the way full time. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and it's going to take dedicated individuals. So it's going to be fun, but it's going to be work. Not a camp out. So yeah, we are very determined to get some evidence, better evidence, and film it all and show it all. So I think from the experience of this last trip, definitely going to use it and pinpoint and actually get into the areas a lot quicker and better, and hopefully get interaction and activity sooner, and more people witnessing it with more equipment being able to capture it. So, but part 2 of the 168 will be coming out here. Carrie's going to be working on it. Of course, he's a busy guy. He works a lot, works all the time. So he is one man who does it all, and he is busy. So unfortunately, you guys are going to have to wait. But that's okay, because it makes it worth the wait. Patience is better. It's good to have patience. Sasquatch have amazing patience. They will be out there sitting there in the mud and water and bugs infested all over them. And they will wait you out, and they will be patient enough to observe everything all day long without really moving from their little spot. That's how they operate. That's how they hunt. That's how they eat food or get food. And that's how they seemingly know that people are in their areas, because they're set up in areas to watch. And they know that most average people are going to be coming from, the trails, and trailheads and stuff like that. So they set up in areas definitely to watch people, but to set up to watch their game and their prey and observe what is happening in the woods. And so when they're sitting there observing everything, that's a lot of time for them to sit back and think and use that brain of theirs and formulate and come up with strategies. But over the years, evolving has built up intelligence. And the interesting thing enough is, when these things are evolving alongside humans, which they have done, and observing humans and how humans operate in the woods, just like dogs and cats, domesticated dogs and cats can look at a person's face, even though they don't understand what you're saying to them. They can understand your facial expressions and its meaning. They can understand your body language, and they can communicate with you through your gestures and stuff that they've been taught. But these animals have evolved to learn our body languages, to learn to read us and observe us, to watch what we're doing. A dog is always watching your face to see, what you're doing, what kind of mood you're in, what you're trying to communicate to them. So Sasquatch is observing people and how they operate in the woods and what their tendencies are. And when they are next to the Native Americans, they observe them and their lifestyle. Obviously, the modern age we have evolved, but their tendencies to observe humans has not changed. And they have observed, this modern evolution of things. And if they really have studied humans and observed us as we've evolved from the Native Americans all the way to, everyone has iPhones and stuff now, I think they know a lot. I think they probably understand a lot. They obviously don't understand everything. They don't understand all the technology. I think they have a basic understanding of things. And they definitely have a basic understanding of how humans are in the woods. And when we're looking at something, and how our eyes operate visually and how we hear and how we respond to things. So they know when a human is looking this way, they can creep in from behind. And I mean, there's some basic evolutionary stuff that they've probably know from watching humans. So when you're out there and you're trying to find these things, and you're trying to be quiet and you're trying to sneak up on these things, and they're really just able to dance around you. And that encounter up in the UP that we filmed definitely proves it to me, reaffirms it to me that in fact these creatures are just going to dance around you out there. I mean, it's like we're toddlers out there, and then they could run around us and do whatever. And so when you get into these situations, you have to really understand that it can be dangerous. You're not in control. You're not in control at all, honestly. When they're very close to you, guns might help. Being armed might help. You might have confidence and stuff, but the reality of the situation is you are not in control. They are. And I think most of the time they're patient and they want you just out. If you're a nuisance and you're bugging and they don't want you there, they're going to try to push you out, but they're going to have the patience that they're not outright going to kill you. But if you do something stupid, maybe point your gun, shoot at them, shoot a kid, injured or corner one. I mean, there's certain lines in the sand I'm sure they won't tolerate. But if you have the opposite of, you're trying to build up a friendlier, curious relationship, they might be more open to tolerate you and have more patience for you and observe you, because maybe they want to learn something from you. And this is a big thing, is they've evolved and observed humans because that's how they survived, is, especially during the Ice Age and these thousands of years here in North America and beyond, is humans have, we have hunted other animals to extinction. And so if these things are observing us and watching us and hiding from us, they're evolving in such a way that they're avoiding us, and they're evolving to observe us in ways to avoid us and to stay out of our sight and to not be on our radar. And honestly, it in a way you can evolve them to be a prey and predator situation, because they've evolved in a way to watch us that technically they could be a predator to us, because of how they evolved and the landscape they live in and the way they operate, that they know how humans are, and they know how we operate in the woods and how good we are and where we're looking at and all that. So even though they're avoiding us, they're doing it to avoid us. A lot of animals, I think, if they evolved doing what they do, if they started to prey upon us, it'd be very easy. The traits that they're learning and they're doing could be predatory, but they don't prey upon us, at least not anymore. So They seem to just observe us to avoid us, and that's how they've evolved, and that's why they're ninjas of the forest, and they're so quiet, and but that's why they observe us, and they observe us to know what we're doing and to get a heads up on human interaction in the woods and human population spread. Obviously, who knows what they think about modern age of people and TV. There's a lot of reports of Sasquatches watching TV. What are they thinking? What's going on in their head? I mean, there's so many questions that are not answered yet, and there's a lot of research that needs to be done and actual documentation of stuff that needs to be done. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's literally we've done a pin drop of stuff compared to actual observation and actual evidence that we've got, and what do the answers to the questions of what do they actually do in their everyday lives, and what are they actually doing out there, and how do they observe us? What's the relationship between us and them from their perspective, and how are they operating when humans come into the woods? Being able to comparable to the chimps and the gorillas is if people were able to be accepted enough to be on the fringe of their group and observe them and videotaping and document them like the way the apes were on their everyday lives and interactions. I mean, that would be amazing, and that would be evidence, and that would answer a lot of things, because no one has ever observed their everyday life, everyday functions, and everyday rituals of what's the routine that they're doing. So, and that would prove if there are more of an animalistic ape in nature. I mean, we're all apes, but the intellect and instinct of an ape, or more of a humanistic hominoid caveman type of intellect, or exactly how smart they are and all that, that could be determined with observing their everyday life. So, because that's the big question, is how smart are they? Do they have their own communication language? Can they communicate with us? I don't think, and the evidence doesn't show to me, that they're not primal and stuff, primal instinct driven, the gut rules their mind. I think if they were primal, the encounter that me and Jason had could have been a lot more different, would have been a lot more different and more dangerous, in fact. And yeah. So yeah. And in different places, like in Florida and stuff, they might have different attitudes. They might be a little bit more aggressive down there, more meaner, less tolerant. Their environment is a lot more different than Michigan, and they have a lot more pressure down there. But the close encounters that we had, they weren't aggressive to us, and so this remaining calm and showing this calmness and hopefully having a good interaction is possible, because in Florida we had them very close to us, and we were trying to do the same thing, is have this interaction, remaining calm, and trying to get evidence. But of course they rule the situation, and it's not easy. So are you there? Are you there, James? Or
yeah, I'm here. I was just listening. You're going on a tangent, so I was letting you talk.
Yeah, well, you know how it is. Got talking about the encounter, and they just gets me fired up, because I'm just glad it was caught on video and stuff. And so yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get out and go back to Florida, the 168. That's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna really try to work hard for that and try to get some great evidence. And I definitely expect everyone who goes and participates in that is going to be driven, and we're going to get out there into the bush. We're not going to stay on trail. We're going to get off trail. We're going to definitely be avoiding the snakes and avoiding the alligators, definitely. And trying to get interaction, like I said, this whole time. Trying to get interaction like that. in Florida, I really don't think we're going to have, that maybe one would show itself to us, if we can build that type of trust and relationship there while we're there, it's possible. But definitely are able to get them peeking at us. And they do, cross the trail in front of us like happened. And they do move around you for strategic advantage. And they do definitely, when you're moving on a trail and you're actually on a trail and you're moving along, they will, again, move around for the advantage to observe you, and they will get ahead of you, wait till you pass, and then they'll circle back around and get ahead of you and parallel and follow you. So when this is happening, like it did, hopefully we can have more people who are dedicated to be out there and get out there. And we chased after them and stuff, so keep chasing after them again, hopefully get better, more equipment and better people out there to do it. On top of all the people that were there, we're gonna have a lot. The number's a lot, so get some dedicated researchers out there, and hopefully we'll have some stuff to show you guys, and you can watch the whole journey of it because of.
You're talking about Florida. Sorry, Prairie.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be doing the same stuff too. As we'll be filming everything, and Bigfoot and on. If you're still watching the stuff, and if you're ever in Michigan, we'll take you out and go to some crazy places, have some fun. So that invitation is actually open for any good dedicated researcher. If you actually want to come to Michigan and actually see what the Lost Cryptids is about, and actually go to some of these areas, you're invited. You come here and we'll take you out, and we'll hopefully get some good interactions that we can film and get good evidence. But actual, real deal people who actually want to dedicate themselves to this and are going to not wimp out and being in the woods and stuff.
Also, me and Tyler are going to be going to the Ohio conference, so if anyone wants to meet up with us there and maybe camp out with us, just I guess say hi when we're there. We're gonna probably solo camp the first day though, by ourselves, to see what interaction we get.
Yeah, I'm really, it's the schedule. The way the schedule is right now, it's like I don't know if I am going to be available there. But if I am,
anything is
definitely
possible.
be joining you guys. It is
Yeah,
possible, but it's going to be very close. So
yeah, I got that.
But that's all right, because if you guys are awesome researchers. You guys can meet them there, and hopefully, maybe we can get the time and I'll go, and that will be definitely an adventure, and it'll be awesome meeting a bunch of people, and who knows, maybe there'll be some cool cats there that we would actually say, you know what, why don't you hang out with us? We got the spot. We're gonna go investigate. But
yeah. Tyler was interested in going to Florida, but I'm not sure because his schedule with work is, rough. So I'm not sure if he could go.
You never know. I can mention it, and I know that we need dedicated people, and so maybe there's a possibility. But if people want to come visit Michigan, we'll take you guys out. We got a number of places, and they're all very interesting and good. But
I can name at least 5, maybe 6. I know you have them all mapped out though, so.
6 is a very small number. Yes, actually.
Let me think about this.
Well, actually, the most recent data I have of the Michigan sightings is 1,791 sightings in Michigan from the 1600s all the way till now.
All right, take it back 8, but maybe more. I'm just That's what I
Oh,
got
there's,
so far.
I mean, there's
Actually, nope, that's 9. Okay.
you know,
yeah.
Michigan is a very unique place, and Michigan is over 50% forested land, has a lot of marshland, and has more coastline than any freshwater coastline than any other place in the U.S. I think uh, we have a lot of places for a lot of different species to be able to thrive in, and surprisingly enough, most of our populations are in the lower Michigan, but they're in pockets and stuff. So
Yeah,
a
there's
lot of
not
the
that many
population
people that
isn't
live in
really
the
spread
UP.
out. Huh?
There's not that many people that live in the UP. Most
Yeah,
of it's in
there's
lower
about
Michigan.
9.5+ million people in Michigan, and there's less than 200,000 people in the UP. So it's very desolate, actually, and the whole Great Lakes region actually is pretty desolate from Michigan and Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, and then the Canada as the borderline of the Great Lakes. It's all actually very rugged country and has a history of Sasquatch through the Native Americans and then white people coming over, fur trappers, and all the way through now. Michigan alone has over 1,791 sightings. Now, this is actual real deal research done to find all these sightings, because if you look at the BFRO, there's certainly not that many that they have reported. And if you look at a number of other ones, they don't have these many sightings reported. But this is work done by Val, who's a data miner. He actually does this full time and has cataloged a number of reports all through America, actually, but mostly Michigan. Obviously, concentrates on Michigan, and we have a very large number of sightings. That is a surprisingly high number. And so, from those sightings comes a lot of data points and a lot of different insights of how Bigfoot operate and what they do, and some of the stuff that is very, very disturbing and shows that they don't care about certain things, and they can act like the boss, and so we can go over some of those things if you want, James. I don't know how long you want to.
I mean, sure. Yeah, I just calculated again. It's actually 14 I have. I forgot
Keep
about
going.
a few, you know.
Keep going, young Padawan. You'll get there. Yeah, we have a lot. There's a lot of areas to go. There's a lot of potential places, a lot of sightings. There's Michigan is a very good Bigfooting state. So don't be fooled. Don't underestimate Michigan. Michigan is actually, I would say, a top tier state for Michigan or Bigfoot activity.
Compared to like Oregon or California, it's not that great, but you know.
It's up there, surprisingly.
I think we're like top 10, maybe like top 8. And
Well,
United
with yes, we're within the top 10 for sure on most people who give out statistics and graphs and stuff of the reports. But Val's number of reports in Michigan puts Michigan very high. In fact, actually, surprisingly high. So, and we also have one of the oldest reports. I think it's the second oldest accounted report in Michigan, and the first one was in Vermont, and I think Michigan was 1634. A French military report was sent over to France, basically detailing a group of Sasquatch tribe of Sasquatches was moving down in the river systems and eventually crossed into Canada. So I will be looking up some stuff real quick. I will be right back. Give me about 1 minute or so.
All right. We're going to take a 1 minute break here, folks.
All right.
Welcome back.
We'll give what?
I said welcome back.
Oh, yes. Thanks. Yes, we have. All right. So here we have some statistics from Vale's data that he's collected over the last, not quite 10 years, but we'll say about 10 years from now. Yes, 1,791 Michigan reports made. And from those reports and stuff, we can gather the data that shows that the most active hours for a Sasquatch encounter is between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. And those seem to be the most active hours here in Michigan. And the least active hours is from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this got my attention. Yeah, I bet if James went outside and did his Bigfoot call facing Lake Michigan, I could hear it in Wisconsin.
I mean, it's possible.
I bet you might. You just might.
Honestly, I don't know.
James does a good call.
I'm trying to get him to last longer because I think the longest I've been able to do is like 6 seconds. But I'm gonna see if I can get it to 10 seconds.
Hey, it takes practice and stuff.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. It's all of what's it called? The amount of air you can release. I don't know. Whatever that's
right.
called.
See, and that's why Sasquatch have such a great vocal range and power, is because of this air mass that they can push into these massive lungs and then explode with this power and last a long time. This inhuman range of sound and also duration. So, and that's it's exactly why we try to look for them and get the evidence. So the most active month in Michigan is July, and the least active month is February. But we've had stuff happen in February. We've had some interesting stuff actually happen in February, yes. So, but those are the least amount of sightings coming in is during the month of February. So those are very interesting data points. Again, so the most active hours is 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. here in Michigan. The least active is 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. The most active month is July. It's also suspected of being a birthing month or a birthing month, potentially. A lot of sightings and of babies crying happen during the month of July. A lot of movement and a lot of migration seems to happen. Least active month is February. Why? Because it's in the dead of winter, when there's usually the most snow on the ground. It's also the coldest. And leaving all those tracks would certainly lead to people finding you. So they're hunkered down and not moving. And so people aren't seeing them. So yeah, those are some little data points. We're gonna get to other ones here. These creatures are out there, and they are natural creatures. They just do a lot of things that we just don't know and have not observed. A lot of it is taken out of context as paranormal stuff because these things are very stealthy. There's a lot of missing people out there. That it does happen, and law enforcement does know about this, and the government knows about this. They would have to know, and so in fact, there is actually a number of law enforcement reports made, and that could fall in from federal agents, state law enforcement agents, county and local police would fall into law enforcement agents. So, and out of his total reports of the U.S., there's 1,926 reports of law enforcement officers reporting of Sasquatch. And there's 163 from Michigan. And out of the total amount in the U.S., there is 338 reports that were specifically military. So military people gave these reports. And 12 of those came out of Michigan. So 12 reports of military sightings in Michigan. Other government employee agencies, not listed. So maybe like postal workers or something. Out of the whole U.S., there was 1,023 reports. And in Michigan, there was 58 reports of Bigfoot sightings from like other government agencies, such as maybe postal workers or anything like that. And so these are reports that were made by government officials of Sasquatch reporting and of their encounters with Sasquatch. And why is this important? Because these individuals, especially law enforcement officers, they're trained to observe and they're trained to trust their instincts. It does show validation that they did see something and stuff did happen for law enforcement. And then the other government agencies, I mean, it just shows that these people in these agencies are reporting this. And they're definitely going to report this to, their superiors. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes, they know that they can't. They might get heat for that. They might get fired. But you can definitely bet a number of these people tell their superior, tell their boss, and a report is made in the government, and a report is sent and is eventually arrives on a desk of someone who investigates this stuff. So they definitely know about it, and they definitely have instances and records of it, I'm sure. So, if it doesn't exist, how come it happens? And it happens to everyday people. Doesn't have to be Bigfoot researchers. You have law enforcement, you have civilians, you have judges, you have lawyers, contractors, you have movie stars, actors. A lot of people, everyday walks of life, encounter Bigfoot, and so it all can't be just fake, a hoax, a trick of the mind. There's a lot of stuff that it's not coincidence. So here we have Bigfoot urinating on people, and this is one I saved because a lot of people, when they hear this, they just can't believe that there's actually documented sightings reported of Sasquatches peeing on people.
Yeah, that's what I just thought.
Well, they are out there, and Val does his research.
Is this like
he's finding
at night or like
he is the
someone's in a
gumshoe guy.
tent?
Well, I'll read a few of them to you guys and see what you guys think.
Great.
Okay, so Bigfoot urinating on people. It seems Sasquatch does use a urine as a scent marker to identify their territory. Thus, in effect, they may be saying, "This is my territory," giving maybe a possible explanation of why they're peeing on people. It's maybe marking their territory. So, a being believed to be a Sasquatch visited a campsite in Alberta, urinating strong-smelling substance on a tent, and later probably left fingerprints on a tinted car side window. And that was 2017, July 16th. That was in Canada, Alberta, Canada. Here we have Hunter Hunters camping in what they now believe they were in a tent near a Bigfoot nest heard a very low lion-type growl that was deeper than a lion. It came right into my tent and then peed for about 5 seconds. That happened 2002, November 26, 4 a.m. in the morning. That was in Tennessee. Hunters camping awoke hearing tree breaks, objects being thrown at their camper, seeing at least 3 individuals. During one of the silent periods, the one behind me started to urinate just feet from my head. Sounded like a horse or a big bull urinating. That was 2014, August 6th, 9:02 p.m., and that was in Nevada. Okay, so here we have another one. Residents with a history of animals being nervous and disturbed hung out an old work jacket on a high fence post and brought it in. Smelled strongly of urine and stink. That was 2000. That was in British Columbia. So hung out the clothes on the clothesline and supposedly a Bigfoot peed on it. Man fishing below a bridge sees a pair of yellow eyes with multiple beings. One of them Sasquatch. Come up and pee on him. It had a volume of 10 times that of an average male human. That was 2016, September 15th. That was in Ohio. Campers tented near a mine heard strange vocals and heavy footsteps when a Bigfoot urinated on their tent. The smell was so bad they left the tent behind. 2004, July 17th. That was in Oregon. Bigfoot urinating on sleeping campers. I was awoken by a strong stench and a presence in the shelter. We were all sleeping in sleeping bags, side by side, when a 7-foot hairy being stood and urinated on us. 1973, November 11th. 1973, November, and it was at 11:30 p.m. That was in Virginia.
How do you know it was 7 foot?
Well, last one. Hikers encounter a Bigfoot, smell of sweat, urine, musk, and dog 30 feet up in a tree. Tried to urinate on them. It was spitting out as well. A friend actually got some on his clothes. It was 2001, August 5th, 12 p.m. That was in Ontario, Canada. And those are examples of Bigfoot urinating on people. Presumably to show territory of this is my land, or this is my spot, you need to leave, and intimidation. And I think one of the other reports he has of it is as a joke, as amusement. So, what were you about to say?
Oh, I said, how did they know it was a 7 foot being?
Well,
Did they look out the tent and be like, "Oh my god"?
Yeah, those are different stories, and
Oh yeah, I know that.
Some of the people seeing it.
Okay.
These are all reports that Val had got, and people have gave him, and he's researched and categorized as people being peed on and stuff. So it does happen, and it does show some different things. It definitely shows how brazen they are, and not really they're not really intimidated by humans. Them going up to you to go pee on you shows that I'm not intimidated of you. You know, that's a pretty big response. That says a lot. It's very interesting stuff. And there's other stuff. There's it just shows that there's definitely this level of intelligence and thought process going on that, if you're gonna go pee on someone, that not like a regular animal coming up sniffing at you and then just peeing to mark, the things are thinking that, I'm gonna go pee on these people. And for what reason, And that's what I'm saying. You don't know what this means, you don't know why. And if you're in a situation that they're very close by you and you're out there in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night, you don't want to make them mad. You don't want to do the wrong thing, because just like that, everything could turn. Just like any wild animal, things can flip on a dime and the wild comes out. And so you always have to be taken in all these situations. You always have to remain calm and just, hope for the best. Hope for the best, because really they can do whatever they want. If you're in a tent, you're sleeping. They've observed humans in tents for dozens of years since the tents were made. They know what tents are. They know that most likely they're flimsy. You could squish you in there. I mean, you're in a little sack. It's like you're in a sack and they just hit you with a club. I mean, so, these things are very smart. And so they're choosing to, it's so ridiculous. These things are not animals. These things are just, you can't outsmart them out there. You're not going to trick them out there at their own game. We can trick them in certain ways with modern stuff and modern curiosity that they have. But yeah, a human burrito is all you are in it with a tent. And so they know that. And there's instances of them touching people's heads in tents and pushing on tents and collapsing tents. So just so you know, in a tent, you're not really that safe from a Sasquatch, because
They can just collapse it.
they know the jig is up. They know what that is. They know. It's not like an animal. Animals don't know. They don't understand. When they investigate and they learn that it's some weak little shelter that they can easily collapse and get into, and there's food, then animals can learn, and that becomes a dangerous situation with bears doing it. But okay, so there's the question of, can Bigfoot and bears coexist? And from what Val's gathered and stuff, no, not really. Bigfoot and bears do not get along. They do not coexist because a bear, black bear, which is more prevalent through the continental U.S. and then obviously grizzly through Canada and Alaska, but any kind of bear is a bear. A 500-pound bear is a 500-pound bear, and they can prey upon young Sasquatch, and so it's a very big danger. And so the data shows that they don't get along, and that there's actually severe aggressive actions taken towards bears. And so we have one report that campers see a grizzly bear running down a gully, followed by a Bigfoot screaming and throwing large boulders towards the bear. That was 1989. That was near Glacier National Park, British Columbia. So let's read what Val says about can Bigfoot and bears coexist. So this is from the data guy himself, the gumshoe guy. Can Bigfoot and bears coexist? No. Bears scavenge and hunt, then eat Sasquatch young. Bigfoots are notoriously vengeful and unforgiving. That's very true. Bigfoots will stalk and then hunt and kill their quarries to met out their own justice to satisfy their vengeance. They have had an acquired taste for bear meat, and they will bait bears, hook, line, and sinker, to strategically to lure particular females with cubs into confrontation using adult-sized juvenile Sasquatches to taunt them. When it charges, a large Sasquatch intervenes, kills, and eats the bear and cubs. Grizzly bears are dispatched with multiple Bigfoots using physical brute strength, heavy rocks, and large pieces of lumber. A family of diet Bigfoot prefers black bear for food. A family living among Bigfoots watch juveniles that are used to deliberately lure a reaction by harassing bear cubs until the female charges, at which point a large alpha male ambushes and kills the bear, and they eat. And that was a report that was made in 2014 in Virginia. And, Val has a very interesting picture of a bear that's hanging about, 25 feet up in the tree. So if you guys want to see that.
Oh wow, that's wow.
So that is a black bear that is hanging in the full picture, which is a different spot. The full picture, it's about at least 25 feet up in the tree. It's pretty high up there. So what Val is explaining, what I just read, is Val's interpretation of what he thinks is going on, and that the Bigfoot do prey upon black bear, and they're smaller than grizzlies and more prevalent, obviously where we're at in the U.S. We don't have grizzly bears. Not enough of them around here, but in Montana and stuff, they have them. In Alaska, of course. But using smaller Sasquatch individuals to lure a bear to get attacked, because obviously a bear is not going to go after a big male and try to eat them. Shows that bears would eat young Sasquatches, and that they don't get along. And he has other stories of reports made of bears. So we're going to read that right now. All right. Witnesses watched a black bear running off the road into the brush with a 9.6 foot Bigfoot chasing in close pursuit. A bear carcass was found torn to shreds in a huge 18-inch track all about. That was 1996. That was in October. That was in Oregon. Val has another picture of a torn up bear that is pretty bloody and stuff. I don't want to. Not going to show that one, but it's a mutilated bear, pretty much. I don't know if it's that picture and stuff. Val does have a lot of evidence and stuff that I sent to him, and it showed that is not seen anywhere else. Let's just say that. So he is the gumshoe guy, and awesome friend to have, and part of the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, and he is a great guy, definitely a great guy, and a plethora of knowledge. So. But yeah, we have other data points that we're going to show you here. Yeah, catch up on chat. See if you guys are okay. Okay, so here we have some instances and reports that you probably guys have never really heard of. Sasquatches touching people, which is very unique stuff because there's just not a lot of it. And
What do you mean by touching people?
well, tell you the touching people. So you think you gotta remember, this is a very big animal, very powerful animal. So let's just think about that when we hear some of these reports. All right, so campers were laying with their arms at their side when a monkey-like hand reached in and touched my left hand, leaving him sick for 3 days afterwards. That was in 1967, Ohio. Okay, so that one was interesting because it not only touched him, but the person said that he was sick for 3 days afterwards.
Probably had a disease or something.
which could be. And this is another thing that doesn't get talked about is pathological diseases that they might pass to us, and we know that we might pass to them, obviously, but they might have something that could make us sick, and that could be a very big danger too. That we obviously don't know yet, but we could suspect that since they're isolated and not human contact is very minimal, there's potential of some bacteria, or at the very least, and of germs that they deal with and are accustomed to that we are not. So that was one instance of that, which is its own separate category, because there are other sightings and stuff that does show that people get sick sometimes when they come close to these things. So here's another one. Camper was awoken by a physical sensation on his head, like something touching him through his tent. Its palm cupped at the top of my head, and it was through the tent wall. And that was in 2017, June. That was a Thursday at 3:30 a.m. Alberta, Canada. So again, the creature cupped its hand and felt the dude's head through the tent. Carefully. And bears, will push on your tent. They'll push on it, but they don't. They have claws and stuff, and they don't cup and doing these certain things. So here we have is it says Bigfoot collapsed a tent on hunters. Then it dropped on all fours and started to run away like a gorilla. That was 2015, June, 5 p.m., Colorado. All right, here's another one. Bigfoot creature pressed against the tent so hard that we could see through the tent. It pressed against the tent so hard we thought the tent was going to collapse. 1984, summer. I was in California. Pushed on it so much it was going to collapse, they thought. Bigfoot creature was trying to reach its big hairy hand inside our tent, searching to grasp at something. 1973, that was in Pennsylvania. So a Bigfoot hand reaching into the tent trying to grab something. 1974. Okay, so here's another one. We got a few. Of these guys. So instances of Bigfoot touching people. Or touching. Campers hear rocks knocking before she heard heavy stomping footfalls, then felt big finger touch the back of her head, described as a hard petting. That was 2014, June 8th. That was in Washington. So she heard rocks knocking before she heard some heavy stomping footfalls, and then felt big fingers touch the back of her head, described as hard petting, like you're petting an animal. Wow. I bet she was freaked out, to say the least. Okay, so Camper was jolted awake after hearing strange sounds in his sleep. And he saw the tent being unzipped. He looked at the entryway and sees a big black wide face with no hair peering at everyone sleeping. 1995, February 11th, Oregon. Unzip the tent. Again, tents have been around a long time. Long time. I think they probably understand how they work by watching us.
Exactly.
Doesn't take much to unzip a tent. All right. Something grabbed both of the boys' hair while camping, and they felt a hairy hand 1960. That was in June. That was in Oregon. So 2 boys had something feel their hair. All right, here we go. Mother woke up to what she called a hand grabbing her 2-year-old toddler son's ankle and trying to pull him out of the tent. That was in 2001, July. That was in Arkansas.
Don't worry about me. Just
Woke up to a hairy hand, a hand grabbing her 2-year-old out of the tent. Again, unzip the tent and try to grab the kid. Okay, we only got 2 more. One of the guys woke up and screamed. He seen a hairy. Wait, one of the guys woke up and screamed. He seen a big, hairy arm reach into the van's passenger window. That was 1994 summer. That was in Indiana. Reach into the vehicle. Okay, last one. Hunter was sound asleep when he felt himself being slowly pulled out of the back of the truck. 1992, August, 3:30 a.m. That was Tennessee. And those are data points of certain sightings and stuff that he's categorized of Bigfoot's reaching / touching people. So reaching into vehicles, reaching into tents, and actually touching people. So those are some of the encounters that he has categorized for that particular data point. And they show that these things are very brazen. They will touch you. They will try to get into your tents and grab things and grab people. So that is something we should be aware about and be on guard for that. Tents and stuff. Exactly. Here's a good point right here. Is hallucinations don't unzip tents. Tricks of the mind don't unzip tents.
see what I do is take the zipper from the other side and put it inside the tent so no one can get in.
Yeah.
Gotta try something.
Well, there's because people do go missing, and these data points, some of those, as you can see, grabbing and touching people. I mean, some of that could be considered, bad behavior that could signify, attempted kidnapping, like toddler and stuff. Kidnapping people, and there are instances of people going missing and people being found, and there is data points of Bigfoot attacks that Val has. And he laughs at the idea of there's never been a report of a Bigfoot attacking someone. Well, Val has reports of it. And there's old newspaper clippings of a page, an article written of these wild men attacking people. So, here we have as a data point of people going missing and people being attacked and found in swamps. And because there's a very clear relationship between Sasquatches and swamps. Very clear relationship of these things are in the swamps, they habitate in the swamps, and they're definitely interacting. So here is some data points on that. So swamps seem to provide a consistent relationship with Bigfoot Sasquatch activity, and those two elements are concurring themes in many Bigfoot reports and sightings. Across the U.S. and North America, swamps have been noted in association with Bigfoot in 500 reports and tree stick formations. In the illustration below are some of the high points scrubbed from numerous reports. Okay. 1. Witnesses heard woman scream in swamp, detected bad odor, missing female, never found. Swamp is the key main factor in this, is what we're going at. It's the swamp, missing people, or Bigfoot attacks. Found in swamp, partially covered in muck, partial state of decay. That was one body found in the swamp. Again, the key thing is the swamp. Found in swamp, crushed skull, and broken ribs. Okay. Found dead in a swamp hole, 8 foot wide. Found dead in a swamp in a nest of sticks. Okay, so here's some sightings and stuff that were a Bigfoot in swamps. Again, keyword swamps. And so those bodies that were found in the swamp, Val has them presumably a Sasquatch related death, Sasquatch related occurrence. Because if he didn't believe it and vet it and stuff, he wouldn't have put it in there. And it's related to swamps. Again, the key thing. So, hunters traversing swamp seen large, powerful built man covered in very dark brown or black hair. 1968, November 30th, Wisconsin. I saw a very large, dark, upright thing come out of a swampy area across the road. 2007, May 25th, Texas. Bigfoot spotted in swamps. That was 1849 in May. That was in Oklahoma. Sasquatch had circled the camper in the middle of the night, then tracks disappeared in the swamp. 2005, September 1, 12 p.m., British Columbia. So, heard branches breaking and something grunted right beside me. Saw hairy 8 foot tall figure standing up near swamp. 2006 was in Florida. So here we go. Missing 4-year-old girl found semi-conscious wandering near swamp. 1934. That was in Manitoba. Missing 5-year-old boy found 24 hours after he went near swamp. 1964, August 5th, Saskatchewan, Canada. Okay. Skeletal remains of missing 8-year-old girl without clothes and shoes after she went missing near swamp. 1994, Saskatchewan. Missing 5-year-old boy found barely alive when wailing was heard from swamp near his home. 1936, Washington. Missing 18-year-old female hiker disappears near swamp after other hikers report hearing screams. 1946, December 1st. That was in Vermont. Huckleberry picker went missing and never found near swamps. 1952, Massachusetts. Farmer walks near swamp on his property, goes missing. 1932, New York. Abandoned trunk of missing man found on remote part of his ranch near swampy area. 2009, Oklahoma. Body of missing 3-year-old found in the middle of a swamp by hunter. That was 1949. That was in Minnesota. Grouse hunter goes missing, never found near swampy area. 1957, Minnesota. So, yeah. Those are instances of Bigfoot in swamps, and this factor that swamps play in the sightings of Bigfoot, but also in the missing people aspect. and Bigfoot possibly playing a role in that. And Val suspects that in some of those cases because obviously he would not have included that. So again, skeletons found with crushed skulls and broken ribs in the swamps. Obviously, missing people are found. Sometimes they're never found near swamps, in swamps, around swamps. Swamps are very dangerous places, obviously. So be on the lookout for that. These are very key data points, and so you got to take this seriously because when you go out there and you're in these areas, like this stuff has happened. Like just because people don't know about it, there's never been a Bigfoot confirmed killing people. Well, that's not technically true. The stuff we just read, there's a lot more stuff out there. Kind of points that, you know what? There's something going out there. Might not all be Sasquatch related, but you can pretty much bet that there's instances of Sasquatches making people go missing. And if you're out there and you're out there researching and getting close to these creatures, you're taking your own life in their hands and they dictate the situation and you better not make them mad. So better take it seriously because you're in a very extreme, serious situation being in close proximity to these creatures. And, here at the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, we do get close to these creatures and we try to give evidence of it. And we are taking our chances out there, honestly. And it's not easy. And, hopefully we can get the support from you guys and from the community to help us and, to have our backs as we try to present this evidence because, it's not easy. So any help is much appreciated. And so we're going to keep going. So yeah, it's just amazing stuff. Val's an amazing guy. We're gonna have him on and stuff. He was gonna be on and stuff, but had to cancel and giving him some time to get some things around. And it's gonna be a jam-packed show full of valuable information you guys are not gonna want to miss. And he is the man for sure. He's the gumshoe guy. And he thinks there's a lot of things that are connected and not coincidences. And there's a lot of stuff waiting to be discovered. And I think that we are on the cusp of it, certainly. So it's a great time to be in the Bigfoot community. A great time to be researching it. And so this is an awesome one that a lot of people are not going to know of these sightings and these occurrences. And that is of infrasound. Infrasound is a very unique thing in the Bigfoot community because, we think that these creatures are emanating the sound or whatever is happening to make people sick or to make people feel this odd sensation. And, here at the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, we've had people experience that sort of stuff. We've known people to experience that sort of stuff. And it is very odd, and it seems like something is going on, whether it's infrasound or if it's some, magnetic type of anomaly or pheromones, possible chemical pheromones that your body's reacting to by it's smelling it and your unconscious brain is registering it because that's how pheromones work. And so infrasound. Anyways, these are interesting data points that Val has that he here are some examples and possible illustrations of these occurrences happening. So this is what he has. Man hiking near power line easement hears strange pterodactyl sounds, sees multiple animals on all fours. Bigfoot. Do not look at him. Oh, wait. some of this, the way it's worded is very odd. Okay, so it says, sees multiple animals on all fours. Bigfoot did not look like a monkey. It looked more like a human than monkey, with no facial hair. After looking it in the Bigfoot eyes, I dropped my glance and asked God for help. That was 2014 November. That was in Colorado. Here's strange pterodactyl sounds. So, Bigfoot presence was intense and was making me a little nauseous. Got a strange feeling of dread and being watched. Hair on her arms was standing straight up, and I've never had such a weird feeling again. So in that instance, the presence was intense and making that person a little nauseous. That's 2015 in Georgia. Okay, here's another one. Hunter recalls hearing screams, then commented, Bigfoot might have wielded Hunter and partner us to sleep, as they unexplainably fell asleep. Willed. So that was 1974 November. That was in Oregon, implying that they had some hypnotic power making them to go to sleep. Or this is the data point of infrasound, but some of this infrasound would not do. Like going to sleep and all these sorts of stuff that people do have happened to them, seemingly. Okay, here's another one. Hunter sees beast on all fours. Bigfoot seemed like it had us hypnotized or something. It was 1962. I was in Texas. Again, keyword hypnotizer, something going on to have this odd sensation. Hiker says there were multiple animals. They use whistling noises to communicate while hunting or on the move. The creature also possessed some sort of hypnotic powers, as he stated that they put him into a trance, as in Washington. Truck driver at rest sees multiple animals, felt strange sensation, heard two loud thumps like heavy footsteps, heard grunt that sounded like go, and seen something that seemed to snap me out of a trance-like state. I was in 2015 in Michigan. Homeowner was zapped him with feelings of vibrations, causing some very frightful reactions inside. That was 2011, Georgia. So those are some instances of some type of weird phenomenon going on that we would attribute to infrasound, or this ability they have to make us react in a certain way to get us sick, or to have strange feelings that we normally wouldn't have, or possibly put us in a trance. So interesting stuff, to say the least, which people would say, it's paranormal, which I don't know. I don't think so. But if it's infrasound or sound waves that they're making with this incredible lung capacity that they have, and then producing a sound that causes certain vibrations, it is possible to make people sick, I would assume. Natural infrasound, we know that elephants use, tigers use. And tigers use it in a way that they can stun a prey, seemingly. And it's not as effective and seemingly and intense as what Bigfoot seemed to do with people, of instantly making people sick and stuff. But tigers have been noted to infrasound prey to make them hesitate for a couple seconds more, or be in a trance-like state for a couple seconds, to get an edge up on them, and to get a slower reaction time from the prey. So, but the fact that seemingly Sasquatch can target individuals, say in a group of line, and only one person gets sick, doesn't really seem natural, or how natural sound waves would progress in waves and hit people at certain distances at the same time with the same intensity or different intensity, but how one could focus it to hit a certain individual in a crowd of people. That's where it seems to be very unique and stuff. So, and the intensity of the info sound would be, elephants communicate with infrasound over long distances. Yes. So it could be the natural component that is very viable. We do know it does certain effects on people, but the way they're applying it seems to be unknown to what science is known of these other animals. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting data points that you will find nowhere else. So yeah, very interesting stuff. And I'm looking at the time right now. It is 3 hours and 22 minutes into this stream. Another long one, James.
Yep.
Is there any last things you want to talk about, communicate with, before we kind of slow down and shut the stream off? It is getting late.
I don't really care. I think you hit all the points you wanted to hit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if there's any questions in chat, let's hurry up and put them out there. We'll try to answer them and pretty much shut the stream down. We're not gonna do a record here of the longest stream ever. Yes, another marathon. You know, it kind of flies by, honestly. It really does fly by sometimes. And, we used to do 2 shows a week. Now we only do 1. Now we just add more time to the 1. So it's basically about the same content you would be getting with the 2 shows, but now we just do 1. But we'll have some guests on here. I know we've took a break from that. But James, if you got anything, bring it up. And then if there's any questions in chat, let's get them rolling, and then we can go from there, guys.
Nope, I don't got anything. I'm just trying to do some Photoshop. It's like so close to perfect, and it's hurting.
Oh, man. So, but yeah. Other than that, we're working on audio stuff. We're doing stuff, but yeah. Constantly, always constantly looking and reading and watching Bigfoot related stuff and material, and reading different books and stuff. Actually, I'll show you the book I'm currently invested in right now, and we got some other books, and we have right here, you guys can see, it is Culture, Man, and Nature. And this is by Marvin Harris. This is a introduction to general anthropology. And so basically, you know, I'm trying to learn and study this and referencing to apply it to the Bigfoot stuff, because when we get more evidence of culture and of traits that make humans, of intellects and culture and stuff like that, we're going to see how where they lie at, you know, how far they developed, how, you know, what exactly is the extent of their culture, of their civilization. Do they have one? Are they cavemen? Are they animalistic and stuff? And do they have tools that they make? Do they have artistic stuff that they make? Do they have things like this? A bunch of things that we don't know. Do they make arts and crafts? Do they build tools? Do they, you know, all sorts of things. So that's a good read. I would suggest that people would read that particular book, and then any other book on related to that subject and biology and stuff. And
We got a question from Sopam Smith asking what you think about the Independence Day footage.
you can look at a breakdown that we have, and if you go to the playlist, I think it's the breakdown section. I did a breakdown on this video.
Yes.
You know, at first I thought it was kind of hoaxy looking, but there's one piece of that footage, that very, very small piece of footage that makes me very interested in it. And if you look at my breakdown video of this, you watch the whole video. I break down several things. When the adult Bigfoot picks up the baby and wraps its hand around it, it seamlessly gives the Bigfoot a kiss. And in that video, you can see I break it down, and then I actually show some Thinker Thunkers stuff that he showed, because he was able to show it slightly a little bit better, and it's a different shade. And you can see that the Bigfoot, its lips actually press and make a kiss. And I know that masks can't do that. I know someone in a costume is not going to make the costume form lips and kiss the baby Bigfoot. So that right there kind of makes me lean towards it real. I mean, I don't know what else is there to explain that. So if you look at my video breakdown of that, there's some interesting things, and you'll see that kiss, and then you can decide from yourself from there. So yeah, but a lot of people think that is fake. But I don't know, the kissing motion, the lips is very odd and it doesn't explain, saying it's fake and stuff in a person in a costume doesn't really explain that. So I think we need to, look into that more. And a lot of people who look at that video and do the breakdowns, they don't catch that, and they don't look at it, and they don't show it, and it's very hard. And but it is there. You can see it. So I would take a look at that video. It's gonna be the breakdown playlist, and it's gonna be the Independence Day footage broken down or whatever. I don't know what I titled it, but and we got some other ones on there. Probably should do more breakdowns, but a lot of them are fake, and I don't want to even get into the fake ones. But those ones interested me, and so yeah. What do you think about it, James? Do you remember that one?
Is that the one with the one Bigfoot and the kid she's carrying, or?
Yeah, it like pops out, looks like a male Bigfoot, and then they go behind a rock, and then they pop out.
Yeah. I think it's legit.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first. Well, yeah, I guess it was technically one of the first Bigfoot videos I seen, and it looked real to me.
I only say it because of that kiss that I found and stuff, but who knows? That's the problem with it, is we can't investigate it enough to determine it one way or another.
Do you know where it was?
Oh, it's in the back of this cranium, logged away somewhere, but it's not. The file's not coming up on display for me. So,
does anyone in the comments section know where the video is from? I'd like to know.
Yeah. I think there's some good ones out there. But there's a lot of fake ones out there. A lot of fake ones of this red Bigfoot running around. There's a video going around with groups now of this red Bigfoot running, and he's running this way, and then another shot he's running that way, and then another shot he's he's chasing the people down a hill, and then the red Bigfoot jumps over a stick and falls on his butt and just can't seemingly chase people down a hill like a Bigfoot. Clearly a person in the costume. You're getting shots of him running this way and then, oh, he's running that way. I mean, come on, guys. Are you serious?
I haven't seen that one yet, so
It's ridiculous. And then they have a, yeah. I mean, you can see it. Obviously, it's not real. Or there's, footage of them walking in the trees and stuff, and people saying it's Bigfoot, and it looks like a costume. Or there's hoaxers and stuff that have used the Chewbacca mask, a Chewbacca mask, and has tried to pass it off as a Bigfoot.
the Independence Day footage was from Idaho.
All right.
Who would have guessed Idaho?
Idaho is definitely a Bigfoot state for sure. Northern Idaho for sure. Would be a great place to go. There's actually some spots that
Never been there, so
if you get the chance, definitely some spots.
I don't really go west or even northwest.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of spots that I would like to visit, and in the years to come, we will. So, it's one of those places.
Oh, Idaho. Okay, I found it. Yeah, I mean, I knew where it was on a map, but I didn't know exactly where.
It's out west.
Yeah, it's over by Washington, Oregon, which are two of the squatchy areas.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Does Montana have reports?
What?
Montana, do they have reports, or
Oh yeah.
Wyoming, or
That's where Bigfoot.
Yellowstone's in
Bigfoot
Wyoming, yeah.
Is Montana. Yeah, they have a lot of reports. Of course, in Montana, and they got grizzly bears up there and wolves, and Montana's a big country, big place. A lot of mountains and a lot of open land and good, healthy environments for them. So. But I guess if there's no more questions.
Yeah, we got any last minute questions?
Last minute question, guys. But yeah, we're gonna invite people out for a camp out. We want some dedicated researchers to tag along and actually do a expedition up here with us and happily host some people. We definitely have a more open camp out. Not so serious, and definitely serious, but not as serious as those researchers we want to have a expedition with. But we're gonna have some open hangouts with the Lost Cryptids Conservatories that you guys are gonna be invited to, and we're gonna do some unique stuff and invite you guys to Michigan, because if you guys want to go Sasquatching with the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, we will make it happen.
Swamping.
Yeah, how far in the swamp do you want to go? How deep in the woods do you really want to go?
It was a joke, but I mean, now you're serious.
We do go and take this seriously, and we do go through some gnarly stuff. And if you really want to go out with us and you really want to be serious, we'll push you, and we can go in some deep spots and go into the home of Bigfoot itself. So we are definitely inviting serious researchers to go out with us for a serious expedition. But we're also going to put the invite for anyone to come and tag along. But we'll have to contact us and talk for details and get things rolling like that. And we'll let you guys know in the future how you guys can do that. And you can contact me through Facebook. You can find me and through the Lost Cryptids Conservatory Facebook page, Facebook group. You can write comments on here. And through the email and all of that, of course, which is the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. Lost
barely
Cryptids
see it,
Conservatory, all one. No, what?
I was just saying I could barely see it because it was so tiny.
Yeah, there's a few ways. I'll write I'll write it in the
Comments. The live stream.
Oh, it's the Lost Cryptids Conservatory at gmail.com, of course. It is no spaces, and each word is capitalized. Of course, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory is all capitalizations at gmail.com. You can contact me there, or so that's the place to contact me for sightings, reports, any questions, comments, concerns. If you want to network, contact me. Come to Michigan, come hang out. If you want to set up something with us, you want to have us out on an investigation that you might have, we're open to that. Well, network with a lot of people. Get out there. Here's my personal email, I guess, too. I use both of them, so contact me that way. We're really taking reports, encounters. Maybe if you guys have an encounter you want to share and possibly come on the show, contact me. We'll talk about it, and then maybe we'll make that happen. So
You don't have to be from Michigan either. It can just be in general.
Right.
To come on the show, at least report it. I mean, we can't really do anything about it.
We're gonna have some open mic nights and stuff, so we'll open up to pretty much anyone. But out of those open mic nights, to be on the show, you obviously have to communicate a little bit and kind of see how things are. And same thing with coming to camp with us. We're gonna have an open invitation, but to actually get out there with us, we want to kind of communicate and get to know you, and maybe see if you would be a good fit to go out there with us. So obviously we can't have any random people without some kind of vetting going on, but stay tuned for that. And the video, some good videos will be dropping in a couple months. Christmas stuff. We're going to have some more stuff from the conference coming out. And so hopefully you guys enjoy that. So, all right, James, thank you so much for coming on and being a good host. You're a great member, and great evidence that you caught, and hopefully we get more and we can compare it and showcase it to other researchers and compare it to them and what they are getting.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah,
is getting evidence and comparing it to other.
To know if it was actually Squatch or like even if it was another animal, that'd be nice to know too.
Yeah. The more sounds we get, and the more evidence and even natural sounds we can get, we can put it in databases and have it categorized and cataloged to compare to. So, gathering evidence is a must. Audio and video and physical. So. Get out there and try, and help if you want to help us. You can support us, and so thank you all for supporting us and watching us, spending the time and viewing our content. We really appreciate that. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It always helps, and
leave a like if you enjoyed.
And guys, we will see you on the other side.
The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.